starting from Douluo, shocking all the worlds. Greetings, fellow multiversal adventurers. It's an honor to have you back in this saga that has us all hooked. Official channel statement: this story is 100% epic fiction. So please don't attempt real magic, the results aren't guaranteed and insurance won't cover it. The rights to this masterpiece belong entirely to its brilliant original author. We are just a barge sharing it with you. Do you want to keep being part of this amazing community? Join our ninja army of subscribers on YouTube and give this content a like. And for true fans, our Patreon has exclusive ninjutsu waiting for you. Chapter 51 Made It, Still Lost? Skyblade Judgment, accompanied by the soul-shocking soft shouting sound from the sky and the earth. The faceless knight condensed by the golden light began to slowly raise the sky-reaching long sword. Even if its speed of raising the sword was not fast, it still made the dark Douluo tiger feel a huge death crisis. And what made it even more frightening was that there was an invisible force that completely locked it. Its huge body seemed unable to avoid the sky-reaching long sword no matter where it fled at last. The faceless knight held the hilt in his hand and raised the Tang San longsword completely, and then slashed down fiercely. The dazzling golden light skyrocketed. This sky-reaching long sword directly pierced the space, and appeared on top of the dark Douluo tiger's head at an instant speed, and the sacred light instantly purified all evil. Cracks appeared on the dark Douluo tiger's body, and as soon as the scarlet blood sprayed out, it turned into bursts of snow mist. A shrill roar came from the mouth of the dark Douluo tiger. But it seemed that it was stimulated by the severe pain that went straight to the depths of the soul, and the original ferocity of the dark Douluo tiger was completely stimulated. Facing death, it not only did not evade, but directly opened its mouth and swallowed the holy kesha trapped in its sharp claws. Immediately, the dark Douluo tiger then unleashed all its strength, flapping its pitch-black wings, and ruthlessly collided with a falling down heaven-reaching sword boom. Suddenly, there was an earth-shattering explosion. The entire world is completely filled with the two auras of sacredness and evil, intertwined with each other, and gradually melted and decomposed miles away. Tang Ge resisted the glaring light and opened his eyes. He looked at the sky in the distance that was still shrouded in gold and black, and his mind was filled with the scene of the faceless knight cutting down with his long sword. Because he has seen the super seminary, Tang Ge naturally knows that this Heaven Blade trial is the most powerful attack launched by the Holy Kesha based on the cutting-edge technology of the Angel family. But what he didn't expect was, in this world and without the support of the Angel family civilization, the Holy Kesha, who was just a clone, used the trial of the Sky Blade again. The terrifying power that seemed to cut through the sky really shocked Tang Ge. He didn't know if the dark Douluo tiger was dead or not, but even if he didn't die, the blow from the Holy Kesha would definitely hit him hard. So looking at the battlefield still shrouded in gold and black in the distance, Tang Ge felt both anticipation and apprehension. In this way, time slowly passed. After about half a quarter of an hour, the remaining black evil aura was finally completely purified, leaving only the remaining golden light slowly shrinking. Then a familiar figure reappeared. It is the King of Angels Holy Kesha. However, compared to the beginning, her originally solid body became extremely illusory, as if it would dissipate with a wind. As if aware of her situation, Holy Kesha glanced down with her beautiful eyes with a tinge of brilliance, and the corners of her mouth slightly curled up to reveal a smile. The breath of our clan. Immediately after she waved her hand, a group of sacred lights separated from her body, and directly turned into golden light and shadow and flew downward. After finishing all this, the whole body of Holy Kesha suddenly turned into golden light and completely dissipated. In the end, where she had been standing, there was only a feather with a dull golden light left. Before the feather fell from the sky, Tang Ge, who just flew over from a distance, quickly reached out and grabbed it, and at the same time, information about the feather appeared in his mind. The feather of sublimation, it is condensed from a trace of sacred power left by the Holy Kesha, the king of the gods of the super seminary. After absorbing it, the quality of the soul ring can be improved. Improve the quality of the soul ring? Seeing Yu Yu's message, Tang Ge didn't expect such a result, and couldn't help being secretly surprised. It's just that now is not a good time to study it carefully. After temporarily receiving the sublimation feather into the system space, he flew directly downward. Soon, Tang Ge found Jin Ringsu lying flat on the bottom in a deep pit. At this moment, Jin Ringsu's clothes were messy and torn, and a large piece of white skin was exposed, but it was covered with dust mixed with blood. Her hair was loose and she looked even more distressed. At first, Tang Ge was worried that Jinriksu would be slapped to death by the dark Devilga tiger's paw, but when he saw the slightly heaving heart of the other party, he immediately felt relieved. Not only that, Tang Ge also felt a divine and bright aura filling Jinriksu's body, constantly healing the other's injuries. Presumably this is the reason for the sacred light ball cast by the holy Kesha before it dissipated. So if things go on like this, not only will Jinriksu's injuries be healed, but her own blood and martial spirit will also be qualitatively improved. After all, it was a gift from the King of Angels. But Tang Ge's heart was sour and uncomfortable at the moment. After all, the holy Kesa was condensed from a feather he drew out. It could have been used as a trump card, but it was consumed by a 10,000-year-old soul beast that suddenly appeared. Just consume it. But the dark Devilga tiger was obviously dead without even leaving a trace of it, and in the end it just couldn't see the appearance of the spirit ring. And the only thing Tang Ge can get is the sublimation feather that can improve the quality of the soul ring. This is compared to the feathers of the holy Kesha. Is it earned? Still lost? Tang Ge is not sure yet. He only knew that compared to himself, Jinriksu, who was still lying in the pit at the moment, was the real beneficiary. All of a sudden, Tang Ge had mixed feelings in his heart, and finally all of them turned into a wry smile on his face. He couldn't help shaking his head. Forget it, it's good to be alive in the end, so why think about it so much? As for the dark Devilga tiger, maybe they chose to die together in the end. After comforting himself, Tang Ge was afraid that the previous movement would attract strong people, so he didn't dare to stay here any longer. After he carried the unconscious Jinriksu out of the deep pit, he sent his martial soul flying into the sky, and left here at an extremely fast speed. At the place where the battle took place, not long after Tang Ge left with Jinriksu in his arms, two more figures rushed over from a distance. Looking at the display of their soul rings, they were obviously two soul emperors. But even so, seeing the destroyed scene like the end of the world in front of them, the two soul emperors who rushed over could not help but gasp. Could it be that there was a battle between a titled Douluo and a, year-old soul beast here? Find the eldest prince first, and then we will have stronger soul masters to deal with other matters. After one of the soul emperors calmed down, a serious look appeared on his face, and said. The other soul emperor couldn't help laughing wryly when he heard this. A look of sadness flashed in his eyes. But he didn't say anything. After nodding, the two separated and searched around. Ask for recommendation tickets every day. Ask for a reward. End of this chapter. Period. Chapter 52. The Second Soul Ring, promoted for 10,000 years. After the two soul emperors of the empire separated, they began to search in this ruined and ugly area. Naturally, what they were looking for was Jinriksu, who was pretending to be the great Prince Zhu, king of the empire. It's just that Jinriksu has already been taken away by Tang Ge, so she will definitely not be found. Moreover, the two imperial soul emperors who rushed over did not think that in such a horribly destroyed place, if the eldest prince had been here before, he would still be able to live safely. They are just making the last effort. But during the search, one of the imperial soul emperors didn't notice that a shadow was slowly approaching him. It wasn't until the strange shadow climbed onto his leg that the soul emperor felt something was wrong. What? He wanted to drink it out. But before he finished speaking, a strange shadow suddenly entered his mind. The panic on the face of the imperial soul emperor froze, and after a while, a strange smile suddenly appeared. But there was a murderous intent in his eyes. Human, damn it! In the distance, another soul emperor seemed to have heard the movement here, and couldn't help asking loudly. Two men, what happened? It's nothing, I just saw something interesting, but I have already solved it. The imperial soul emperor named Kilming put away the murderous intent in his eyes, and his face returned to calm. After he replied to his companion, he continued to search. After going on like this for a while, the two had no choice but to give up. When they returned to the capital of the empire with the news of the eldest prince's accident, the entire empire was shaken. For this reason, the soul-hunting forest was directly blocked, and a large number of imperial soldiers began to conduct a comprehensive search for it. It's just that all of this is just an afterthought, and Jinriksu, who caused this incident, is still lying quietly in a hidden cave. After a long time, Jinriksu finally woke up with a low moan. As soon as she opened her eyes, she suddenly stood up from the ground, and the soul power of the divine attribute was involuntarily stimulated from her body. But Jinriksu breathed a sigh of relief when she was sure that although her clothes were torn, there was nothing missing. And she didn't feel any strange feeling in her body. reminiscent of what happened before, but now I am in this quiet cave again. The mysterious boy who repeatedly shocked her appeared in Jin Ringsu's mind. Is he the one who brought me here? Jin Ringsu couldn't help feeling a complex feeling that was hard to describe. Not only that. At this moment, Jin Ringsu also felt a more intense and stronger soul power in her body than before. She was sure that her strength had improved by at least 3 levels compared to before. Especially the sacred and bright aura contained in this soul power made her involuntarily call out that godlike existence. That is definitely the god of her angel family. No, this matter is very important. I have to go back and see my grandfather. Jin Ringsu's eyes glowed with fiery light, and she muttered to herself. Immediately she left here directly. Tang Ge didn't know that what happened this time directly made Jin Ringsu give up the identity she had pretended for several years. After putting Jin Ringsu in the safe cave, he flew out of the hunting soul forest. Because of the appearance of the dark Devilga tiger, the hunting soul forest became chaotic. With a riot of spirit beasts, there are adventurers fleeing everywhere. After Tang Ge approached the periphery, he fell from the sky and blended in among these adventurers without being conspicuous at all. After he left the hunting soul forest and traveled nearly 100 miles, he temporarily chose to stay in a hotel in a small town. Finally opened the room, closed the door, until the moment he sat on the bed, Tang Ge finally took a breath. He didn't rush to take a shower, but called up the profile panel first. Shocking system, host, Tang Ge, level 25 Great Soul Master, Martial Soul, Twin Martial Soul, Yin and Yang Life and Death Diagram, 4 Swords of Zuxian, Soul Ring, Yin Yang Life and Death Diagram, Purple, Black, Soul Skill, Pleasure, Flying, Martial Arts, Random Cloaking Windhammer Method, Secretive Zing Character, Hell Smelting, Heavenly God Fist, Physique, Ancient Saint Physique, Fusion 66%, Shock Value 15,820. Looking at his own information compared with the previous ones, not only his soul power has increased by 1 level, but even the fusion degree of the ancient holy body has also increased a little. The most important thing is that the shock value once again exceeded, reaching more than, points. Tang Ge felt that this trip to the hunting forest was safe and sound. It's just that the further you go, not to mention the slowing down of the increase in soul power, the resources required for the increase in the fusion degree of the ancient holy body are also becoming more and more exaggerated. You must know that he used the hell furnace to refine so much life energy before, almost half of it was absorbed by the ancient holy body, and the result was only a little improvement. As you can imagine, to successfully pass through the integration period of the ancient holy body, Tang Ge still doesn't know how many life energies as big as a valley will be devoured. If the time comes and accidentally attracts the title Douluo and insists that he is an evil soul master, it will really be like a rat crossing the street and everyone will be beaten. Tang Ge couldn't help shivering at the thought of some terrible scenes. No. You have to be safe, and you can't be as defenseless as this time. After secretly reminding himself in his heart, Tang Ge shifted his attention from the data panel, and stretched out his hand to take the sublimation feather out of the system space. How to use it? Looking at the sublimation feather in his hand, Tang Ge was about to think about it. As a result, the system sound suddenly rang in his mind. Ding dong. Did the host choose to use the feather of sublimation? Use. Tang Ge frowned, endured the surprise in his heart, and agreed directly. As soon as he finished speaking, the sublimation feather that was lying quietly in his palm suddenly turned into golden light, and swooshed into his body. Immediately afterwards, the second Millennium Soul Ring that belonged to Tang Ge's Great Soul Master also directly emerged. This Millennium Soul Ring exudes dazzling purple light, gradually absorbing the golden light cluster formed by the sublimation feather. At the moment when the golden light group was finally completely absorbed, the purple light suddenly rose sharply, and then black spots appeared. This is. Seeing this scene, Tang Ge's heart trembled suddenly, and he couldn't help but widen his eyes. Then, under his inconceivable gaze, the black spots that were originally only a few spread rapidly, covering the entire purple 1,000-year-old soul ring in the blink of an eye. Boom. In the trembling of the void, the purple color faded instantly, replaced by a dense black light. This moment, the 1,000-year soul ring was successfully promoted to the 10,000-year soul ring. At the same time, the yin-yang life and death map of Wuhan emerged spontaneously, splitting out 2 life and death auras, 1 black and 1 white, and condensed into a pair of black and white wings behind Tang Ge. The second soul ring was promoted to the 10,000-year soul ring, and a new soul skill was born. Please recommend, ask for a reward, end of this chapter. Period. Chapter 53. 5 years later, please recommend, regarding the feather of sublimation, Tang Ge actually didn't have that much hope. It is already very satisfying to be able to give him any soul ring with a lifespan of hundreds of years. But now, seeing with his own eyes that his second millennium soul ring just changed from purple to black, Tang Ge was really shocked. If the shock system worked for him too, that must be the shock value of 100,100 constantly popping up above his head. Not only that, Tang Ge also discovered that there were 2 more wings of soul power on his back, one black and one white. With a thought in his mind, the black and white wings flapped and took him away from the bed, floating in midair. At last, as the second soul ring was successfully promoted to the Wanian soul ring, the black light settled down, and information about the soul skills of this soul ring also appeared in Tang Ge's mind. The second soul ring, soul skill, yin-yang wings. After using the soul skill, 2 wings of light appeared on the back, one black and one white. They could fly, and they could also cast a life-death formation that could be switched at any time. Standing in the middle of the formation, one's own side is constantly receiving continuous treatment. Standing in the death formation, every time one side attacks the enemy, it will continuously corrode the enemy's soul power, body and soul powerful. Unprecedented and powerful. After seeing this information, Tang Ge understood that his second soul ring had undergone a qualitative change from the inside out. 10,000 years soul ring. 2 major soul skills. If it weren't for the dark halo glowing on the soul ring, it could be regarded as a 10-year soul ring. At this moment, because of excitement, Tang Ge fell directly from midair. With a click, the already weak bed was smashed down by him. But Tang Ge didn't care at all, he just paid a small amount of money. He even wants to demolish the entire hotel now. But in the end Tang Ge continued to recite silently in his heart. Calm, calm, slowly, his heart finally calmed down. Taking a look at himself in such a mess, Tang Ge put away the soul ring and went directly to take a shower. Immediately, he changed into new clothes, sat down and rested for a while, and then left the hotel and left the town. Outside the small town, on a remote path, Tang Ge who came here stopped. Looking around, Tang Ge couldn't help smiling after confirming that there was no one around. It's here. Immediately, with a thought in his mind, after the second soul ability was activated, 2 wings of light, one black and one white, condensed and formed behind him. The wings of yin and yang fluttered, and a wave of air was created in the circulation of the power of life and death. Tang Ge shot up into the sky like a fired shell, and then turned into a black and white light and flew towards the distance. In the blink of an eye, he completely disappeared from the horizon. In this way, 5 years passed quietly. 5 years later, at the junction of the Heaven Dao Empire and the Star Luo Empire, there was a vast and boundless forest. Here, there are countless and powerful soul beasts. It is the great Star Dao Forest known as the mainland's forbidden area. But at the same time, it is precisely because there are countless soul beasts here that it attracts a large number of adventurers. At this time, on the outskirts of the Star Dao Great Forest, 5 adventurers were besieging a wind wolf. It can be seen from the purple soul power that this is a wind attribute soul beast wolf with a soul age of 1,000 years. Wind tornadoes are constantly forming around it, resisting the attacks of the 5 adventurers. But it's a pity that these 5 adventurers are all soul masters with 3 soul rings, and they have a clear division of labor. In less than half an hour, with their extremely tacit cooperation, the 1,000-year-old soul beast wind wolf was severely injured. Give up your strength, and leave the last blow to Sister Xiaochen. One of the middle-aged men who was suspected to be the team leader suddenly spoke loudly at this moment. Hearing his words, the other 4 immediately slowed down their attacks. And 7 or 8 meters away, a man and a woman stood there watching quietly from the very beginning. The 2 are not very old, appearing to be around 13 years old. Following the opening of the middle-aged man on the opposite side, a smile appeared on the face of one of the teenagers. He looked at the girl and said, Xiaochen, the 1,000-year spirit ring, is it okay? No problem. Facing the boy, the girl named Xiaochen shyly shook her head. But soon she regained her composure, and with the urging of her soul force, her emerald green dress fluttered, and her whole person changed drastically. In the end, the girl completely transformed into an elf with long black hair and pointed ears. 2 yellow soul rings emerged from her feet, and an emerald green longbow condensed in her hand. Then the girl drew the bow, a long arrow was formed, the string was loosened and the arrow was released, and with a swoosh, it shot towards the spirit beast Wind Wolf 7 or 8 meters away. No surprises. Under the pressure of the 5 adventurers, even if the Wind Wolf was a 1,000-year-old soul beast, it was directly pierced through the head by the long arrow thump. As the body of the Wind Wolf fell, a purple soul ring suddenly emerged from the body. Seeing this scene, the 5 wounded adventurers breathed a sigh of relief. Then they turned around immediately and looked at the young man opposite, with anticipation in their eyes. Seeing this, the young man smiled slightly, and a purple soul ring immediately appeared under his feet. Immediately after he waved his hand, 5 milky white beams of light poured directly into the bodies of the 5 adventurers. Even if it wasn't the first time they saw it, the 5 adventurers still marveled at the power of the youth's soul skills. But then they didn't have the chance to think about it, and they were immersed in the joy of being traded. It can be seen with the naked eye that their injuries are also rapidly improving. After releasing the beam of light, the boy's gaze shifted to the elf girl again. Go, the elf girl nodded, and walked straight to the Wind Wolf's corpse. Then she sat on the ground, summoned the purple soul ring with one move, and began to fuse it with her martial soul. Faintly visible, behind the elf girl, there is an illusory figure similar to her emerging. This is her martial soul. That was once as ugly as jelly, but now it has turned into a Wuhan who looks just like him. Tang Ge called this Wuhan the forest elf. That's right. At some point, the extremely handsome young man who walked to the side of the elf girl was none other than Tang Ge, who had walked out of Holy Soul Village 6 years ago. Now, 5 years have passed since parting with Tang San and leaving Nodding City. After these 5 years of experience, not only Tang Ge himself has undergone tremendous changes, but even the elf girl in front of him has become a different person. The elf girl's name is Lin Yuchen, the jelly girl who once appeared in the hunting forest. If he hadn't witnessed the earth-shaking changes in the other party from head to toe during the 5 years of getting along with his own eyes, Tang Ge couldn't believe that they were the same person. The change is really big. For a moment, Tang Ge couldn't help but sigh with emotion. 5 years have passed, and the recommendation votes in your hands will be moldy if you don't vote. Ask for a recommendation ticket. Ask for a reward. End of this chapter. Chapter 54 The Spiral of Wind. Looking at Lin Yuchen, who is merging the 1,000-year-old soul ring with her eyes closed, Tang Ge sighed that the experience of the past 5 years emerged in his mind involuntarily. Ever since the encounter with the Dark Devilga tiger and escaped from the soul hunting forest by chance, it didn't take long for the entire soul hunting forest to enter a state of martial law. Soldiers sent by the Heaven Dao Empire are everywhere, and they have launched a long-term investigation on the soul masters outside the hunting soul forest. For this reason, Tang Ge had to give up and continue to practice in the hunting soul forest. And because his cultivation was already level 25 at that time, it would be useless for him to stay in Nodding College, so he simply left a note for Tang San and left Nodding City. In the first year, Tang Ge was not in a hurry to find a place to settle down, but went with the situation and wandered around. During this period, he met good people, encountered bad people, and dealt with businessmen, and even sneaked into the Fengaiyu place to release it. As a result, the boss of the Fengaiyu place was rigid, and when he found out that Tang Ge was a child, he kicked him out mercilessly. This made Tang Ge depressed for a long time. Disappointed, Tang Ge became disheartened, immediately gave up and continued wandering, and began to change direction and walk towards Soto City in the kingdom of Barak. He planned to find a place to live there first, and after he got a new soul ring through the roulette of the heavens, he would go to the Star Dao forest to practice hard. But unfortunately, the soul ring is not easy to draw. After Tang Ge consumed the 3 lucky draw chances accumulated in this year, he only got 2 9-aperture golden elixirs and a meditation method. The name of the meditation method is very simple. It is called the Forest Spirit Meditation Method. This meditation method was thrown directly into the system space by Tang Ge at the beginning. Later, he met Lin Yuchen. The little girl who was shyly hiding behind her older sister was being caught by several adventurers and seemed to be sold somewhere. Tang Ge rescued him in time, and after asking again, he found out that the other party's sister had died in an adventure out of mercy. Coupled with the fact that he is going to the Star Dao forest to practice and obtain the soul ring needed for level, it happens that the little girl's martial soul will help Tang Ge. So Tang Ge took the other party and that's it. Tang Ge, who was originally alone, has an extra follower behind him, and the two of them have been together for 4 years. After careful consideration again, Tang Ge even took advantage of Xiao Yuchen's inattention, and slapped the forest spirit meditation he had drawn earlier into the opponent's mind. With this forest elf meditation method, Xiao Yuchen's cultivation speed increased a lot. And Xiao Yuchen became more and more attached to Tang Ge. Even when she went back to the city to stay in the hotel, she pitifully begged to share a room with Tang Ge. Thus, Tang Ge stepped into the life of playing the floor shop. The flying thoughts gradually returned. Tang Ge couldn't help but be full of anticipation as he looked at the more beautiful and moving Xiao Yuchen in front of him due to the influence of the spirit of the forest's meditation. He didn't know what would happen to the other party after he fused the third soul ring. In this way, time passed slowly. The 5 previous adventurers had all come to their senses. Under Tang Ge's signal, they reluctantly whispered their farewell before turning and leaving. After Xiao Yuchen completely absorbed and fused the spirit ring, she finally opened her eyes. As soon as she saw Tang Ge, a happy smile appeared on her pretty face, and she stood up directly from the ground. "Elder brother, I told you that you are 2 years older than me. Why do you always call me brother? It always makes me look old." Tang Ge couldn't help but reach out and rubbed Lin Yuchen's hair, and said with a smile. Lin Yuchen blushed, but she yelled again firmly. "Elder brother, okay, brother, let's be brother, anyway, I don't suffer." Tang Ge shook his head helplessly. Immediately he changed the subject, saying, "Since your third soul ring has been successfully fused, show it and let me see your third soul skill." Lin Yuchen didn't hide anything about her most trusted brother Tang. As Tang Ge asked to see the soul skills, 3 soul rings, 2 yellow and 1 purple, appeared under her feet, followed by an emerald green longbow in her hand. The moment a gust of wind appeared, Lin Yuchen miraculously rose from the ground. Even though her feet were less than 1 meter above the ground, Tang Ge was still very surprised. Could this be the opponent's third soul skill? Just as she was thinking, she saw Lin Yuchen, who was surrounded by the soft wind, suddenly scolded, and she shot out a condensed sharp arrow. But compared to before, this sharp arrow flies faster, and you can faintly see a miniature tornado wrapping it, spinning it rapidly during the flight. In the blink of an eye, the sharp arrow slammed fiercely on a small hill in the distance. Accompanied by the loud sound of bang, the hill was pierced directly, and then quickly collapsed into a rubble ruin. Behind it, there is a deep ravine with spiral patterns extending tens of meters away. Witnessing this scene, Tang Ge couldn't help being stunned for a moment. Then he immediately looked at Lin Yuchen, his eyes brightened and said, "What a powerful soul skill, what's its name?" Spiral of wind. Lin Yuchen put away the soul ring and landed on the ground again. Feeling Tang Ge's burning eyes, she couldn't help blushing. Then she seemed to be afraid that the other party would not understand, and quickly explained, "After using the wind spiral, I can leave the ground for a short time and move in a small range. And if it is combined with the first soul ability, it can become a spiral arrow of wind, just as powerful as before." Wind spiral? Hearing Lin Yuchen's explanation, Tang Ge immediately confirmed that this was indeed a displacement-type soul skill, which just improved the opponent's self-protection ability. And the third soul ability can actually be combined with the first soul ability to enhance the power of the first soul ability. Have to say, Lin Yuchen's luck is very good. So seeing the anticipation in Lin Yuchen's eyes after she finished speaking, Tang Ge smiled and nodded. Well, very powerful soul skills. Hearing Tang Ge's praise, Lin Yuchen couldn't help lowering her head shyly. But in her heart, she was as happy as eating honey. Seeing this, Tang Ge was a little amused. But thinking of the important things that will happen next, he didn't plan to stay here any longer, and reached out to rub Lin Yuchen's soft long hair. Let's go back to Soto City." With the appearance of the black soul ring, the wings of Yin and Yang appeared immediately behind Tang Ge. Immediately, he hugged Lin Yuchen and jumped into the air, flying directly towards the outside of the Star Dao Forest. Ask for a recommendation ticket, ask for a reward. End of this chapter. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 55. Long time no see. The Kingdom of Barak, the city of Soto. When Tang Ge brought Lin Yuchen back from the Star Dao Forest hundreds of miles away, he left the original residence and found a new hotel. The name of this new hotel is the Rose Hotel. The Rose Hotel is 3 stories high, and the decoration is very chic, and the appearance is all rose red, which looks like a huge rose. At first, Lin Yuchen didn't understand why Tang Ge brought her to this hotel suddenly. But when she paid the money and came to her room on the third floor, Lin Yuchen immediately saw the huge heart-shaped bed in the pink room. And the bed was sprinkled with red rose petals, exuding a tangy floral fragrance. This is. After Lin Yuchen froze for a moment, she seemed to think of something, and her pretty face instantly turned red. She couldn't help but said weakly, "Tang, brother Tang, why don't we change another room?" "No need to change, all the rooms in this hotel are decorated like this." Tang Ge turned his head to look at Lin Yuchen with a teasing smile on his face. Then he walked directly towards the heart-shaped bed in front of him. Looking at Tang Ge's back, Lin Yuchen struggled for a long time. In the end, she still felt that she was not ready yet, so she couldn't help blushing and said in a low voice, "Brother, I'm going out to buy something." After finishing speaking, Lin Yuchen turned around and left the room as if fleeing. Snapped. The door of the room was closed immediately. Tang Ge, who had just walked to the bed, looked back, and shook his head amusedly. "This girl is just wishful thinking." Immediately, he took off his shoes and sat cross-legged on the bed. Smelling the tangy fragrance of roses, Tang Ge's heart moved, and the profile panel suddenly appeared in front of his eyes. Shocking system, host, Tang Ge, level 39 Soul Master, Martial Soul, Twin Martial Soul, Yin and Yang Life and Death Diagram, 4 Swords of Zuxian, Soul Ring, Yin Yang Life and Death Diagram, purple, black, Soul Skill, Joy, Yin Yang Wings, Life and Death Formation, Life and Death Mohammedra, Martial Arts, Random Cloaking Windhammer Method, Secretive Zing Character, Hell Smelting, Heavenly God Fist, Physique, Ancient Saint Physique, Fusion 99%, Shock Value 3250, compared with 5 years ago, Tang Ge's strength has improved by leaps and bounds. Not only did his soul power level break through to the 39th level Soul Master, but the fusion degree of the ancient holy body reached 99%. And this is why Tang Ge poured most of his resources into the ancient holy body. Otherwise, if he only pursues the level of soul power, and does not consider the age of the soul ring, he may even be a strong soul sect. But Tang Ge believed that with his current strength, if he tried his best, the strong soul sect might not be his opponent. This is the benefit of a deep foundation. It's just a pity that it is easy to increase the soul power, but it is extremely difficult to increase the ancient holy body. Even if there is only 1% of the progress left, Tang Ge feels that it will consume a lot of resources to successfully awaken the ancient holy body through this point. So he had already planned in his heart that after he reached the 40th level, he would go directly to hunt the 10,000-year soul beast. Then, with the help of the energy released when fusing the 10,000-year soul ring, try to break through the ancient holy body to the awakening stage in one fell swoop. Hopefully it will work then. It's just that Tang Ge didn't have much confidence in his heart, so he couldn't help but sighed. Immediately, his attention shifted to the soul skills column. 1 purple and 2 black, definitely a luxurious configuration. It's just that Tang Ge didn't hunt the 10,000-year soul beast, but raised the latter 2,000-year soul rings to 10,000 years through the sublimation feather and the baptism of the sea god. For this reason, he added a third soul skill, Mohammedra of Life and Death. Mohammedra of Life and Death, the power of yin and yang is condensed into the handprint of life and death, and it is turned into a giant palm to shoot, which can injure the enemy or absorb the vitality of the opponent to feed back to oneself. This third soul skill can be said to be Tang Ge's first attack type soul skill. So Tang Ge is very satisfied with this. As for the only remaining 1,000-year spirit ring, although it was a little low grade, he could only figure out a way later. Tang Ge shook his head and stopped thinking about it. After putting away the data panel, he got up and got out of bed, and walked directly out of the room. Xiao Chanchen is outside alone. Tang Ge is not at ease. In addition, it is also time to prepare in advance for admission. As if thinking of something, Tang Ge couldn't help showing a smile on his face, and his figure gradually disappeared. Soon, 3 days passed. During this period, Tang Ge spent most of his time practicing in his room. As for Lin Yuchen, Tang Ge couldn't stand the girl's thin skin, so he had to open another room for her. Although the layout of the room is still the same, at least when you do your own private things at night, you don't have to worry about being seen by the other party. Wait until the morning of the 4th day. When Tang Ge was practicing alone in the room, Lin Yuchen who was out suddenly ran in a hurry. Brother, there's a fight downstairs. What's the rush? Talk slowly. What's the fight? Tang Ge opened his eyes, looked at Lin Yuchen who was out of breath, and blamed him a little. Lin Yuchen's pretty face blushed, and after trying to calm down her violently heaving heart, she explained what she had seen. After listening to Tang Ge, his heart moved, and he suddenly realized that the person he was waiting for had finally arrived. He couldn't help laughing and got off the bed straight away. Come on, let's go down and join in the fun. What? Hearing Tang Ge's words, Lin Yuchen couldn't help but look confused. But after regaining her senses, seeing Tang Ge who had already left the house, she hurriedly followed. Rose Hotel, lobby on the first floor. Under the watchful eyes of many residents around, the two figures were fighting. But as the third purple Millennium Soul Ring appeared on one of them, a low shout suddenly came out of his mouth. White Tiger King Kong transformation, boom. The golden light was dazzling, and terrifying power burst out instantly. The young man with the phantom of the white tiger emerging from behind just tore apart the extremely tough black vines wrapped around his body with just a light force. Afterwards, the young man rushed forward quickly, and with his sharp claws, he instantly sent the other young man with two yellow soul rings flying away. Boom. In the end, the boy with two spirit rings stopped when he hit the platform behind him. He was about to continue to fight back, but the moment he looked up, he seemed to see something, and a look of astonishment suddenly appeared on his face. That person is. At some point, a man and a woman appeared at the stairway leading to the second floor from the lobby. These two were none other than Tang Ge and Lin Yuchen, who had just come down from the third floor. When the eyes met the eyes of the boy who hit the stage opposite, a smile appeared on Tang Ge's face, and he waved his hand. Long time no see, Tang San. Ask for recommended tickets every day. End of this chapter. Period. Chapter 56 still moving, then do one more. Long time no see, Tang San. Tang Ge's voice was not loud, but as soon as he uttered it, the boy on the opposite side was stunned. After a while, he tentatively said, Are you Tang Ge? Ah. Is he Tang Ge? Another girl who came with the boy just ran over, and when she heard the boy's words, her delicate face also became surprised. These two are none other than Tang San and Xiao Wu, who lived in the same room with Tang Ge 5 years ago. However, compared with before, the two of them have changed a lot. They belong to the handsome and eccentric type. If he didn't know the plot, and Tang San's martial spirit is highly recognizable, Tang Ge might not be able to recognize them. But well, Tang Ge still felt that he was more handsome. So when he walked in front of Tang San, he stretched out his hand to pull him up, and spoke with a smile. What? Are you shocked by my handsome appearance? Tang Ge's voice was not loud, but because the lobby was very quiet, many people heard it. Immediately, he couldn't help but burst into a putchy laugh. Okay? How dare someone laugh? Tang Ge frowned slightly, and looked in the direction of the laughter. Then he saw two beautiful and tall twin sisters standing in the corner of the lobby. Tang Ge's eyes lit up, and he couldn't help but say, You two beauties, how about having dinner together tonight and driving? Hearing Tang Ge's invitation, the twin sisters just giggled, but didn't say yes. Besides, after Tang San came back to his senses, he couldn't help asking. What do you mean by driving? I don't know the details, but it must be very fun. If you don't believe it, if you have a chance, you and Xiao Wu will know if you try it. Hearing Tang San's inquiry, Tang Ge suddenly smiled mysteriously. Is it fun? Xiao Wu's eyes lit up all of a sudden. Even Lin Yuchen couldn't help pinching the corner of her clothes when she heard it, and looked at Tang Ge with watery eyes, showing a look of wanting to speak but not daring to speak. Obviously, she also wants to try such a fun game as driving. But at this moment, a voice full of displeasure suddenly came. That brat, where did he come from? He dared to hit on my woman just after he came here. Believe it or not, I'll beat you up. Tang Ge and the others couldn't help but turn their heads to look, and immediately saw the young man with the strength of the Soul Lord looking at them angrily. However, the boy's eyes were mainly focused on Tang Ge. After all, Tang Ge was blatantly robbing his woman. Tang Ge, his daimyo, the evil-eyed white tiger, a level 37 soul master. Tang San revealed a trace of solemnity in his eyes, and said in a low voice. Hearing Tang San's reminder, Tang Ge naturally knew the strength of the evil-eyed white tiger daimyo, and also knew that the other party was the prince of the Star Luo Empire. But so what? Level 37 only. So when he saw daimyo's proud face opposite him, Tang Ge curled his lips in disdain. It's only level 37, and after a fight, the clothes are all made like this. People who don't know will think they are selling it at the Rose Hotel. Don't you think so, Tang San? This. Hearing Tang Ge's mercilessly humiliating words, Tang San was momentarily at a loss for words, not knowing what to say. But Xiao Wu next to him laughed unabashedly, obviously still angry that Daimyo hurt his third brother just now. On the opposite side, Daimyo was trembling with anger. He couldn't help staring at Tang Ge. His eyes were a little red and said, "Boy, tell me your name." "I, Daimyo, will not bully little characters without names. Sorry, for someone as small as you, it's an insult to tell you my name." Tang Ge smiled mercilessly. As soon as this remark came out, the audience was in an uproar. Many people in the lobby on the first floor knew Daimyo, and also saw the battle just now, so they naturally understood Daimyo's strength. But now, someone dared to challenge Daimyo openly, and even said such ugly words. Either the opponent's strength is stronger than Daimyo's, or he just doesn't want to live anymore. Even the pair of twin sisters who came with Daimyo couldn't help putting away the smiles on their faces, and looked at Tang Ge with surprised eyes. There was a look of interest in their eyes. Seemingly aware of the eyes of the twin sisters, Daimyo was about to go berserk. He had never been so angry since he was a child, and immediately threw a golden soul coin to the person in charge of the lobby, and said with a gloomy face, "Clear the venue immediately. For all other losses, I, Daimyo, will compensate according to the price afterwards." Faced with Daimyo's request, the person in charge of the lobby naturally didn't dare to refuse. He hurriedly greeted everyone and quickly exited the hotel. In the end, only Tang San, Xiao Wu, Lin Yuchen and the two twin sisters remained here to watch. But in order not to affect the competition, all five of them retreated to the corner of the lobby middle area. After everyone retreated, Daimyo with a pair of different pupils stared at Tang Ge coldly, and said, "Boy, I'll give you one last chance to apologize to me. Otherwise, after today, I will let you always remember me as Daimyo, the evil-eyed white tiger." Tang Ge rolled his eyes and couldn't help slandering secretly. "Just hit it, why talk so much nonsense? Do you think my taunt just now was not enough?" So he replied, "Evil-eyed white tiger? Hell, I think it's a blind white tiger. Okay, I'll give you 10 seconds to prepare, or you won't have a chance." Brother Tang Ge beat him up. In the far corner, Xiao Wu's excited shouts followed. Even Lin Yuchen beside her was affected. She clenched her fists and waved at Tang Ge, and said in a low voice, brother, come on." Tang San, who was with the two of them, was quite helpless when he saw this. This is because things are not big enough. But no matter what, Tang San was still very curious about Tang Ge's strength after not seeing him for 5 years, so he was looking forward to the opponent's fight with Daimyo. At this moment, Daimyo could no longer maintain his previous demeanor. As 2 yellow and 1 purple soul rings emerged under his feet, he instantly activated the 2 soul skills of White Tiger Body Barrier and White Tiger Vajra Transformation. Hearing a snort, the clothes on Daimyo's upper body were finally torn apart, revealing the terrifying muscular outline behind. When the concentration of soul power was accumulated to the extreme, he faced Tang Ge and suddenly drank. White Tiger Light, puff. A milky white beam of light suddenly descended from the sky, pouring directly into Daimyo's body from the top of his head. The shouting stopped abruptly. Daimyo couldn't help but close his eyes comfortably, even showing a joyful smile on his face. It's just that this situation didn't last too long. When Daimyo woke up again, he just met Tang Ge's strange eyes. He couldn't help being startled, and wanted to make the first move. But as soon as he raised his hand, another milky white beam of light appeared. Without giving him a chance to react, it poured directly into his body. At the same time, Tang Ge's light laughter also sounded. There's nothing that one light can't solve. If it doesn't work, then let's do another one. If one recommendation ticket can't buy me, then get another one." End of this chapter. Chapter 57. Appeared. Finally appeared again. Seeing the purple halo appearing under Tang Ge's feet, 2 rays of light fixed Daimyo in place with a wave of his hands. Tang San and Xiao Wu's hearts trembled. Because they have experienced the uniqueness of this light, they naturally understand the magical feeling after being recruited. It's just that if the two of them compete with Tang Ge, they would rather admit defeat than experience it again. Therefore, their gazes towards Daimyo were suddenly filled with sympathy. There will be another boy who is about to be poisoned by Tang Ge. Lin Yuchen had also seen Tang Ge use this trick to bully soul beasts, so she was not surprised. But the two twin sisters don't know. The two of them saw that Daimyo Bei, who is usually very powerful in their eyes, was so easily subdued at this moment, they couldn't help feeling suspicious in their hearts. Could it be that this guy is a crayon head with a silver gun, which looks good but doesn't work? At the same time, the appearance of the 1,000-year soul ring under Tang Ge's feet also shocked the two twin sisters. Ding dong, congratulations to the host, you shocked Baizu and gained, shock points. Ding dong, congratulations to the host, shocked by Nian, and gained 50 shock points. Two system prompts sounded in my mind. After listening to Tang Ge, who had used two soul skills to comfortably indulge Daimyo Bei just now, he couldn't help curling his lips. It's only 100 in total, and it's really useless to look good. As for Tang San and Xiao Wu, these two haven't seen each other for 5 years, and they have become picky. Forget it, let's bypass them this time, and there will be plenty of opportunities later. Thinking in his heart, Tang Ge shifted his attention to Daimyo Bei again. He raised his hand slightly, as if he wanted to continue releasing the soul skill just now. Daimyo Bei, who had just escaped from the strange state just now, happened to see this scene. His heart trembled, and he couldn't help but yelled out. You have the ability to fight me, Daimyo Bei, in a dignified manner. Don't play tricks on me. Tang Ge was startled by the yelling, and almost gave the opponent another beam of light. But seeing the majestic evil-eyed white tiger Daimyo Bei being so aggrieved that he was about to cry, he still resisted the urge. Under Daimyo Bei's almost begging eyes, Tang Ge finally nodded. Okay, as you wish. When Daimyo Bei heard it, he was extremely excited, and then he yelled out the words he hadn't shouted out before. White tiger light wave. As a result, before the sound of the word "bo" fell, a fist suddenly appeared and hit him heavily in the face. As blood splashed out from his nose, Daimyo Bei immediately raised his head and was sent flying. A sharp pain hit, and at the moment when his consciousness was about to fall into darkness, he saw Tang Ge, who had just put away his fist. I am Nima. Didn't we say we'd fight upright? Why did you sneak up on me again? Daimyo Bei felt aggrieved and his heart thumped. After he fell to the ground, Su Shi realized that he was ashamed, so he passed out without hesitation. Tang Ge walked in front of Daimyo Bei, seeing the nosebleed on the other side's face, couldn't help shaking his head. Hey, you're still too young. Sure enough, a child who hasn't experienced beatings in society is incomplete. Immediately, he turned his head to look at the two twin sisters who were in a daze. Xiaoxu, Xionian. Don't you hurry up and take your little brother Daimyo Bei to treat his injuries? Of course, don't forget to look at your brain. On the ground, following Tang Ge's words, Daimyo Bei's face was faintly twitching. However, he continued to lie quietly and did not stand up. As for the twin sisters on the opposite side, they were also shocked when Tang Ge directly called her two names. How does he know our names? But although they were puzzled in their hearts, the twin sisters didn't open their mouths to ask, but hurriedly called the people outside to help carry Daimyo Bei away. After everyone left, the person in charge of the hotel lobby also re-entered. Originally he wanted the lion to open his mouth to make Daimyo Bei pay a sum of money, but when he saw the undamaged lobby, he felt extremely depressed. Did you mean Soul Venerable? It shouldn't be over so soon, right? In desperation, the person in charge of the lobby could only look at Tang Ge, and couldn't help but speak. Look, these losses in the lobby, stop. Go to whoever promised you just now. I won't compensate you. Don't even think about it. Before the person in charge of the lobby finished speaking, Tang Ge interrupted him immediately. Then he turned his head to look at Tang San not far away, and urged with a smile. Little San, isn't there still one room left in this hotel? Hurry up and pay, and let's go upstairs. In addition, let Xiao Wu and Xiao Chan live in the same room, and you go to live in the one you just decided on. Joke. I live in a room by myself. Do you want to share a room with Xiao Wu? Think beautiful. After finishing speaking, Tang Ge couldn't help being secretly proud. But for Tang San, hearing Tang Ge's arrangement, he was slightly relieved. Only Xiao Wu seemed a little unhappy, and hummed towards Tang Ge. Next, it happens that the last remaining room is also on the 3rd floor. So after Tang San paid the money, the four of them walked towards the 3rd floor of the hotel together. Suddenly, there was only the person in charge left in the lobby. Looking at the messy scene in front of him, he wanted to cry but had no tears. In this way, Tang Ge and Tang San met again after 5 years, and 2 days passed before they knew it. because you already knew that Tang Ge's purpose in coming to Soto City this time was the same as his own, and it was all to study at Shrek Academy. So, on the third morning, Tang San and Tang Ge left the Rose Hotel together. First go out from the south gate of Suachuo City, and then go straight to the suburbs, which is the direction of Shrek Academy. It's just that the distance seems to be much longer than expected. Originally, Xiao Wu wanted Tang San to carry her away, but when she saw Lin Yuchen who had been silently following Tang Ge, she suddenly felt embarrassed. Therefore, Xiao Wu directly vented her anger on Shrek Academy. She couldn't help complaining, "Little San, did the master get the address wrong? How could a college be built in such a remote place outside the city? And I haven't even seen a single person until now, how long will I have to go?" Later, when Tang Ge heard it, he smiled and opened his mouth. Xiao Wu is right, master must have got the address wrong. And if this Shrek Academy is really built in such a remote place, it must be so poor that they don't even have a place to live. Xiao Wu, think about it, wouldn't it be scary to let you and a girl sleep in a dilapidated house full of cockroaches all day long? Ah, cockroaches are everywhere. Seemingly thinking of some bad scenes, Xiao Wu shuddered suddenly. Then she quickly looked at Tang San, and said pitifully, "Little San, why don't we change to a better academy?" This remark just came out. Not far behind, with a sound of cracking branches, a figure suddenly fell from a tree. The attention of Tang Ge and the four who were talking was immediately attracted. Okay? Flender, the dean of Shrek Academy? Especially Tang Ge, when he saw the appearance of the fallen person, he was secretly surprised. Ask for support every day. End of this chapter. Chapter 58. I was scared away. 7 or 8 meters away. The person who just fell from the tree was none other than Flender, the dean of Shrek Academy, a soul sage with a level 78 soul power. Because Wuhan is an owl and wears a pair of glasses, he has the nickname Four-Eyed Owl. It's just that Flender is very embarrassed now. His majestic soul sage accidentally fell from a tree. If this news got out, where would he put his face? But it was that nasty little guy named Tang Ge who dared to slander his college house full of cockroaches, which made him lose his composure for a moment. So Flender has already planned in his heart that if the other party can enter his academy, he must let the other party understand that some things cannot be said indiscriminately opposite. Tang Ge didn't expect that the dean of a unified college would like to eavesdrop on the corner. How much gossip does it take to do this? As for whether the other party will hold grudges after hearing what he just said, he is not worried at all. After entering the academy, Tang Ge will let this soul sage who loves to eavesdrop on corners understand what is called the law of true fragrance. Just as he was thinking, a sound of surprise suddenly sounded beside him. Huh? Little San, isn't this uncle the boss who sold your ore before? Why did he appear here? It turned out that Xiao Wu also recognized Flender wearing glasses. It's just that she didn't know the real identity of the other party, and only thought that the other party was the owner of the store. Hearing Xiao Wu's words, Tang San nodded. Then he looked at Flender not far away, frowned and spoke. "Uncle, why are you following us? Do you regret selling sheet metal to me before I follow you?" "Wait, I'm following you guys, but is my dignified soul sage such a stingy person? It's just a piece of worthless ore, how could I regret it?" Flender was almost so angry by Tang San's words that he directly revealed his identity. But he still held back his words and snorted coldly. "A group of little fellows, the old man has no time to follow you." After saying that, regardless of whether these little guys believed it or not, Flender walked forward with his hands behind his back, and gradually disappeared. Seeing the back of the strange uncle leaving, Tang San and the others looked at each other. In the end, it was Lin Yuchen who whispered, "Tang, brother Tang, shall we still go to Shrek Academy?" Tang Ge heard it and was about to speak. In the end, Tang San seemed to be afraid that this guy would fool his Xiao Wu away, so he hurriedly said, "Since Shrek Academy was recommended by the teacher, it must not be as bad as Tang Ge said. Why don't we go and have a look before making a decision?" "Well, if Xiaozhen says go, I'll go." Xiao Wu changed her previous reluctance and raised her hands to express her support. Seeing this, Tang Ge shook his head helplessly. This man. Wouldn't it be better to trust each other a little more? Immediately, with 2-1 and 1 abstention, Tang Ge and his party continued to walk forward. But fortunately, this time they didn't go much further. Soon, a small village with about 100 families living in it and surrounded by a layer of fence appeared in the side of Tang Ge and the others. At this moment, many people are gathering at the entrance of the village, and they don't know what they are doing. But passing through these people, one could see above the wooden arch at the entrance of the village hung an old plaque engraved with the 5 characters Shrek Academy. In front of the 5 characters, there is also a green head, which looks like a humanoid monster. Could this be Shrek Academy? When she saw the plaque, Xiao Wu was surprised and couldn't help but speak. Little San, why is there a college built in the village? It's not like the house is really full of cockroaches like Brother Tang Ge said, is it? Tang San was also a little stunned at the moment. But after hearing Xiao Wu's words, he pretended to be angry and said, don't listen to Tang Ge's nonsense, there won't be cockroaches, hee, I lied to you. Xiao Wu stuck out her tongue at Tang San. Then she jumped and ran directly towards the entrance of the village where people gathered in front. After Xiao Wu left, Tang Ge looked at Tang San, and suddenly spoke with a playful smile. Xiao San, if there really are cockroaches, you can plan not to sleep at night in the future, just catch cockroaches for Xiao Wu all night. Tut, it's pitiful to think about it. Xiaojun, let him regret it here, and we will go there with Xiao to have a look. Lin Yuchen suppressed a smile and nodded. Tang San stayed on the spot alone, looking at the back of Tang Ge and the two leaving, as if thinking of something bad. He couldn't help but shudder. He shook his head hastily, dispelled the picture, and comforted himself. It's just catching cockroaches, how could it take all night? Then, Tang San quickly chased after him. Village mouth. When the 4 of Tang Ge came over, there was already a long line here. Almost all of them were young children, accompanied by their parents. At the front, there was an old man sitting behind a table, collecting the registration fee while touching the applicant's hand with his hand. Apparently he's in charge here. But at this time, a father and son clashed directly with the old man because they were dissatisfied with the fact that they could not enroll in the school but did not refund the registration fee. The father among them couldn't help but said angrily, since my child was not selected, why not refund the registration fee? You are obviously cheating money. If you don't refund our registration fee today, we won't leave. I want everyone to know that you are a liar for breaking Shrek Academy. His voice was so loud that everyone in the line behind could hear him immediately. For a while, many parents who brought their children to sign up began to hesitate. Some even turned around and left. Seeing this, the old man sitting behind the table frowned, and immediately said calmly, Mu Bei, someone wants to return the fame fee, you can deal with it. On a big tree not far away, a figure was dozing off on it. As soon as he heard the old man's words, the figure suddenly jumped down and appeared directly in front of a group of applicants. This person is exactly Mu Bei. The injury on his face has recovered, revealing a helpless expression. But just as he was about to release his soul ring to scare away the troubled father and son according to the old man's instructions, he glanced back inadvertently, and immediately saw Tang Ge and the other 4 who were filming behind him. It happened that Tang Ge also looked at Mu Bei with a smile on his face at this time. Eye to eye. Mu Bei's expression of helplessness instantly froze then. Under the stunned gaze of the old man, he seemed to be frightened, and suddenly turned around and fled towards the distance quickly. It wasn't until the figure disappeared that Mu Bei's flustered voice drifted over with a wind. Teacher, my stomach hurts, please leave for a while, ask for a recommendation ticket, ask for a reward, ask for support. End of this chapter. Period. Chapter 59. I feel like I can be higher behind the line. When Mu Bei appeared, not only Tang Ge saw it, Tang San and Xiao Wu also saw this opponent who was punched unconscious by Tang Ge before. As a result, before they had time to say hello, the other party suddenly ran away again. But the 4 of them could hear Mu Bei's last words clearly. So Xiao Wu immediately said with contempt on her face, what kind of stomachache is it? It's because she saw us coming that she was scared away. Tang San agreed very much after hearing this. Just thinking that the other party should also be a student of Shrek Academy, he shook his head and said, Xiao Wu, maybe she really has a stomachache, so don't say such things again. Oh, although Xiao Wu seemed a bit arrogant, she listened to Tang San's words very much, so she nodded immediately, and said no more. At this time, Lin Yuchen, who had been very quiet, seemed to see something, and suddenly let out an exclamation. Brother Tang, look over there, what happened? Tang Ge and the others were taken aback by Lin Yuchen's exclamation, with puzzled expressions on their faces. But when their attention was shifted back to the front, a look of shock appeared on their faces original. The old man sitting behind the table originally wanted Imube to deal with the troublesome father and son, but in the end Imube directly dismissed the troublemaker. This made the old man very helpless, so he could only do it himself. As he got up and walked out from behind the table, he looked at the father and son lightly, and immediately released an extremely domineering aura. As soon as this breath appeared, everyone fell silent. Even the four of Tang Ge felt tremendous pressure. But what really shocked them was, following the release of a strong red light from the old man, a long stick with countless fine lines appeared directly in his hand. At the same time, 6 soul rings rose from the old man's feet, and the dazzling light immediately became the focus of the audience. 1 white, 1 yellow, 3 purple, 1 black. This old man is actually a Soul Emperor superpower above level, when seeing the 6 soul rings appearing under the old man's feet, Xiao Wu couldn't help but exclaimed. Next to him, Tang San couldn't help but gasped. You know, even in the entire Bara Kingdom, there are only a handful of Soul Emperor powerhouses at the, level. And now, at the gate of Shrek Academy, there is actually a 60-level Soul Emperor powerhouse sitting in charge. Sure enough, the teacher's recommendation made sense. Shrek Academy is not easy. Just as he was thinking, the long stick in the old man's hand fell heavily, and a crack appeared on the ground suddenly. Immediately, the low muffled sound spread out. The old man's eyes fell on the father and son in front of him, and he said indifferently, Do you still have to pay the registration fee? We don't want it anymore. No more. The man turned pale with fright and shook his head desperately. Then he hurried away with his children as if fleeing. Suddenly, the audience suddenly became quiet. After the old man put away the long stick, the 6 soul rings also slowly disappeared with the convergence of the soul power. His majestic gaze swept over everyone present, and he spoke lightly. Don't blame me for bullying the little ones. Before recruiting students, our Shrek Academy has announced the registration rules. If you come here without knowing it, you are just giving away the registration fee for nothing. But I am not being unreasonable. I can tell you again now, since our Shrek Academy is named after monsters, it means that we only accept monsters here, not ordinary people. So, if any of you are over 12 years old, or your soul power has not reached level 21 or above, you don't need to waste your time here. After speaking, the old man turned around and sat back behind the table. Facing a strong man at the level of a Soul Emperor, none of the parents present dared to question him anymore. So after the college admission rules were announced again, percent of the parents showed a look of disappointment on their faces, and left silently with their children. After a while, there were only a dozen or so people left here to chat. The old man didn't care, and continued to start his registration work. At the end, a smile appeared on Tang San's face. He looked at Xiao Wu and said, A college that only accepts monsters, we didn't make a mistake in coming this time, so we are all monsters. Listening to Tang San's words, Xiao Wu couldn't help making a grimace. Tang San nodded. Yes, we are all monsters, but monsters also symbolize geniuses, so Xiao Wu, you are a genius. As he said that, he couldn't help stretching out his hand to scrape Xiao Wu's nose dotingly. Beside, Tang Ge couldn't help shivering when he saw this scene. Too gross? But at this time, he also noticed that Lin Yuchen was in a low mood, so he couldn't help asking. What happened, brother? Are you saying that am I unable to enter Shrek Academy? When she said these words, Lin Yuchen was almost on the verge of crying. Tang Ge thought it was something, but when he heard this, he was a little funny. He comforted him and said, Don't worry, didn't that teacher say that you should be under the age of 12 or have a strength of level, or higher? Although you are 2 years older, you are strong enough to join this academy. If they really don't accept you, I'll leave with you. Anyway, it's not like there are no other academies. After Lin Yuchen listened, her bright eyes were full of surprises. She couldn't help but said, Really, of course it's true. Why am I lying to you? Come on, stop thinking about it, we'll be in line soon. Tang Ge smiled and rubbed Lin Yuchen's hair. Lin Yuchen bit her lip and silently said thank you brother in her heart, then waited quietly. Seeing that Lin Yuchen stopped thinking about it, Tang Ge withdrew his gaze and began to observe the remaining dozen or so applicants. He remembered that in the plot, Ning Rongrong from the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School was in this team as predicted. Just after the old man checked a few more children, a girl in a white dress with long blonde hair appeared in front of him. The girl was not accompanied by her parents, and the old man only touched her wrist, then frowned. You come here, Does your family know? Hearing the old man's question, the girl did not answer, but said with a smile, they say that there is no discrimination in teaching. Since I meet the requirements of the academy, you have no reason not to accept me. Forget it, you passed. But wait a while now. The old man had no choice but to nod his head. Later, Tang Ge naturally listened to the conversation between the two. Coupled with the delicate face that the girl showed after turning around, Tang Ge immediately understood. This girl should be Ning wrong. If that's the case, Zhu Huqing will also appear in a short time. Tang Ge couldn't help laughing at the thought of future geniuses gathering here, thinking to himself, I feel like I can be louder, ask for support every day, we can talk about it later. End of this chapter. Period. Chapter 61 Purple and Two Blacks, the brightest boy in the audience. The old man's speed was very fast, and within a short time, all the dozen or so students who lined up in front were all tested. But unfortunately, there were only a few people left standing with the girl in the white dress before. Seeing this, the old man frowned, a little angry. What's the matter with Niu Bei? He hasn't come back after being gone for so long. Then he looked up at the last 4 applicants who hadn't been tested yet, and was about to urge him, when another figure suddenly came here from a distance. Soon this figure appeared in front of everyone. It was a girl, about 11 years old. She has long black hair like a waterfall, except for the cat ears tied on each side, the rest hangs over her shoulders. The girl is not very old, but her figure is extremely hot. In particular, she was wearing a black leather tights, which completely showed her figure and looked extremely attractive. As soon as she appeared, she immediately attracted the attention of everyone present. But following the fiery gazes, the girl showed no reaction at all. On the contrary, the expression on her face was very cold. It was a kind of coldness from the heart, and there was not even a trace of life in her dark eyes. This cold feeling, compared with her extremely beautiful face, was suddenly full of awkwardness. But it is this kind of awkwardness that makes people want to get close and find out. Tang Ge was the closest to the girl, because the girl stopped directly behind him. Therefore, he can best understand the feeling of lifelessness in the other party. As for the girl's identity, there is no one else here except Zhu Huqing who can be so small and have such a proud figure. As he was observing, a soft hum suddenly sounded beside his ears. Little San, how about you just stand here and I'll enter the academy alone? It turned out that Xiao Wu was immediately dissatisfied because Tang San looked at Zhu Huqing a few more times. She was staring at Tang San viciously at this moment, and twisted the back of Tang San's hand. Tang San bared his teeth in pain. Especially when Tang Ge looked over with a teasing smile on his face, he was suddenly extremely embarrassed. Fortunately, at this time, the old man sitting behind the table also urged, What are you doing in a daze? The two of you come over to test together. Hearing this, Tang San heaved a sigh of relief, and quickly took Xiao Wu's hand and walked forward. Next, it was the same as what Tang Ge learned about the plot. Whether it was Tang San or Xiao Wu, they passed the initial test easily. Moreover, Tang San was able to cultivate his spirit power to such a level with the Wuhan blue silver grass, which also surprised the old man in charge of the first test. As for Lin Yujin, the elf-like face she showed after arousing her martial soul also caused a burst of exclamation. And she also has her level 31 soul venerable. Even Tang San and Xiao Wu were shocked. Sister Xiao Chan is actually a soul master? Then, the two involuntarily turned their eyes to Tang Ge. Until now, they still don't know Tang Ge's specific soul power level. At this time, because of Lin Yuchen's soul master's strength, the old man couldn't help but burst out laughing for the first time. Ha ha ha, it's only 2 years away. Our Shrek Academy welcomes a genius like you to join. Go ahead and wait with him. Thank you. Lin Yuchen dissipated her soul ring, and walked to the side obediently after returning to her normal appearance. In the end, only Tang Ge and Zhu Huqing were left. Turning to look at Zhu Huqing, Tang Ge smiled and said, Why don't you go first? I'll stay last. Zhu Huqing looked up at Tang Ge with no emotion in his eyes, then lowered his head again. Tang Ge had no choice but to add another sentence. Don't get me wrong, I don't mean anything else, I'm just afraid that once I pass the test, you geniuses will all be eclipsed. Therefore, I am willing to give you a chance to show your strength first. Having said this, Zhu Huqing raised his head again. Although her eyes still seemed to be full of coldness, there was a trace of other colors in them. Tang Ge read it out. This is a color called disdain. Immediately following his ear came a cold but pleasant voice. Childish. When Tang Ge came to his senses, Zhu Huqing, who was dressed in black leather, had already turned his buttocks and walked forward. He looked at the other person's back and shook his head helplessly. Oh. These days, no one believes the truth. After speaking, Tang Ge also walked up. Because the old man's speed was very fast, after confirming Zhu Zhuking's age and seeing the opponent's martial spirit ghost civet, he immediately announced that Zhu Zhuking had passed the initial test. All of a sudden, Tang Ge was really the only one who came to line up. Tang San, who had just passed the test, all turned their eyes to Tang Ge. The elder of the college who was in charge of the initial examination was in a very good mood because he had encountered a few good seedlings this year. He looked at Tang Ge, who was much taller than the others, and couldn't help but smile and said, "Little guy, aren't you over 12 years old, and now you are alone, is there any pressure?" Hearing what the old man said, Tang Ge also smiled. "Whether the age is over 12 years old, senior, don't you know it after reading it? As for the pressure," having said that, Tang Ge's voice paused for a moment before continuing, "To be honest, they should be the ones who should feel the pressure next." After the words fell, an extremely powerful self-confidence suddenly radiated from Tang Ge. Even the old man couldn't help being taken aback when he saw this. Then he laughed and said, "Ha ha ha, good boy, you have courage. If that's the case, reach out." Regardless of the hostile gazes around him, Tang Ge stretched out his right hand in front of the old man. The old man probed with his soul power and nodded. "That's right, I'm not over 12 years old, so let me see yours." As a result, before he could finish speaking, a black and white intertwined light of soul power suddenly appeared in front of his eyes. Followed by another purple, 2 black and 3 dazzling brilliance ascending away. When he saw clearly that the 3 brilliants were released from the 3 soul rings of the little guy in front of him, the old man who was originally calm stood up from his chair all of a sudden. He couldn't help but widen his eyes, and roared out in shock. 1,000-year soul ring, 2 10,000-year soul rings, little guy, did you fucking die your soul ring? Because of his excitement, the old man even swears directly. It was faintly visible that his body was trembling. As for the onlookers Tang San and other people who passed the initial test before, because they didn't leave, they could see clearly. And were completely stunned by the 3 soul rings that Tang Ge showed for a moment. 1 purple. 2 black. At this moment, just standing here, Tang Ge instantly became the most beautiful boy in the audience. Do you want to be followed? Do you want to be the brightest cub in the eyes of all readers? What are you waiting for? Donate now. No 98, only 99,998. End of this chapter. Chapter 61. With the release of 3 soul rings, 1 purple, 2 black, and even the old man who was a soul emperor, he couldn't help roaring excitedly. Tang Ge suddenly became the brightest boy in the audience, and also ushered in his highlight moment. The sound of the system sounded like ding-dong and ding-dong in his mind, like pouring iron beans. Ding-dong, congratulations to the host, for shocking Tang San, gaining 1,000 shock points. Ding-dong, congratulations to the host, you shocked Zhu Zhuking and gained, shock points. But after a while, Tang Ge found that his shock value had soared from more than 3,000 points to more than 1 points. Most of them were contributed by Tang San and the 4 of them and the old soul emperor. And it's too early to end? So while Tang Ge was secretly proud, he looked at the old man who was shocked by his 3 high-year spirit rings, and said dissatisfiedly, "What is it, Dide? My spirit ring is genuine." However, if Yu Zhigang was here, he would definitely maintain a high degree of agreement with what the old man said just now. After all, counting the history carefully, no soul master in such a young grade has directly created a luxurious lineup with 1 purple and 2 black soul rings. At this moment, in the eyes of the old man, Tang Ge is no longer a monster, but a monster. So when he heard Tang Ge's complaint, he finally realized that he lost his temper just now, but not only didn't care, but eagerly took out a soul testing stone, said, "Come on. Take a quick test and let me see what level your soul power is now." Although Tang Ge knew his level, he didn't say it out, but put his hand on it confidently. With the input of soul power into it, the dazzling brilliance suddenly increased, and then the level of soul power appeared inside. Level 39. Seeing this, the old man suddenly widened his eyes, revealing disbelief. There was a sound of gasping for air from behind. As for Tang Ge, taking advantage of such a rare opportunity, he happily harvested a pile of wool, making his shock value closer and closer to ! This time, the old man in charge of the initial test couldn't bear it anymore. He suddenly activated his soul power, and yelled loudly towards the village where Shrek Academy was behind him. "Principal Flender, if you don't come again, there will be a monster who is rare in 1,000 years and slipped away from the gate of our academy." This roar seemed to be magnified countless times, and everyone couldn't help but cover their ears. Even Tang Ge had to take a few steps back, using his soul power to dispel the yelling that kept echoing in his ears. Just looking at the old man in charge of the initial test, Tang Ge was speechless. "I didn't say I wouldn't join your academy. Do I need to shout so loudly?" Just as he was thinking, another voice came from the village. "Old guy, why are you shouting so loudly? I'm not deaf. But what kind of genius is worthy of your gaff?" Flender, want to take a look?" Accompanied by the whistling sound, a black shadow rushed towards the sky in the distance, and it appeared above the entrance of the village in the blink of an eye. It was Flender, the Dean of Shrek Academy, a soul saint with a soul power of 78. At this moment, he had already used his martial spirit owl, so a pair of black wings appeared on his back, flapping and floating in midair. As soon as he arrived, Flender looked at the old man below. He was about to ask what was going on. But when his eyes swept over the young man next to him, his originally calm breathing suddenly became rapid. "One purple and two black? How old is this little guy? And he actually has two 10,000-year spirit rings." Flender's eyes glowed with purple-black light, staring at the spirit ring under the boy's feet, with an expression of disbelief. But right away, he realized that this young man should be the monster-level genius that the old guy said. So enduring the shock in his heart, Flender continued to look up, wanting to see what the boy looked like. It's just that when he really saw the smiling face of the other party, the soul power in his body suddenly fluctuated violently, and he almost fell off without holding his wings. At the same time, a severe coughing sound of cough, cough, cough also came from his mouth. It took a while for Flender to feel that his ki was smoother, but he began to hesitate whether to foul or not. Because he finally discovered that this monstrous young genius who appeared at the gate of his academy turned out to be the bad boy who said that his academy was full of cockroaches. And back then, this bad boy almost made me look ugly. For this reason, Flender also prepared to train the other party if he was lucky enough to join Shrek Academy. Now it's good. This kid is really lucky, but suddenly he is not good for himself. For a moment, Flender's face was full of confusion below. Seeing that Flender stayed in midair after arriving, the old man in charge of the first test thought that the other party was also surprised, so he couldn't help laughing triumphantly. "How about it? This kid is only 12 years old and has a level 39 soul master, and he has 1 purple, 2 black and 3 soul rings. Such a monstrous genius is something you can even ask for, and it is absolutely suitable for our Shrek Academy, so the next job will be left to you, the Dean." Then, he turned his head to look at Tang Ge, patted Tang Ge on the shoulder, and smiled encouragingly. "Little guy, this headmaster is a soul saint powerhouse whose soul power has reached level 78. If you have any request, just ask. I think the headmaster will definitely satisfy you." "Thank you, senior," Tang Ge smiled and nodded. But Flender in the air twitched, thinking to himself, how could there be such a soul emperor with an elbow turned outward in the academy? It's just that things have come to this, and there are so many people around watching. Flender feels that as the dean, he should be more generous. What old grudges, is it a thing in front of geniuses? Thinking of this, Flender felt a lot more comfortable. He tried hard to put a gentle smile on his face, flapped his wings and fell from the air, and came to Tang Ge. "Little guy, your name is, it's so fragrant." Tang Ge suddenly took a deep breath, showing a comfortable expression on his face. "Really fragrant?" When the words were interrupted, Flender was not angry, but asked with some doubts, "What really smells?" "It's nothing, Dean. My name is Tang Ge. You can continue talking." Tang Ge shook his head and smiled. Flender nodded, feeling that it was normal for a monstrous genius to have a weird temper. He continued what he said just now. "Tang Ge, right? You heard it just now. I am the Dean of Shrek Academy. If you have any requests, just fill in. As long as I can do it, I will try my best to satisfy you, but the premise is that you have to join our Shrek Academy. The new book will be on PK soon, please support." End of this chapter. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Period. Chapter 62 Daimyo Bei's Curtain Call. Oscar appears. Seeing Flender's kind look, Tang Ge wanted to laugh, and even wanted to say something. I will always be the dad you can't get. However, he felt that if he really dared to say this sentence, even if he was a monster-level genius with 1 purple and 2 blacks, he would probably be beaten out in the end. So Tang Ge resisted the urge, shook his head and pretended to be sincere and said, "Everything Tang Ge obeys the arrangement of the dean. Listen to my arrangement." When Flender heard Tang Ge's words, he couldn't help being stunned for a moment, and immediately complained in his heart, "I still want you to pay to join my Shrek Academy. Seeing how sincere you are, if I really believe it, then the owl must have gone blind. But helplessness is helplessness. If he is really stingy and unwilling to give out good things, he will lose face to Shrek Academy instead." So Flender thought for a while before looking at Tang Ge seriously. He said, "Since you came here to sign up, it means that you are still inclined to join my Shrek Academy. As the dean, I will not treat you badly. If you wish, as a soul sage, I can accept you as my personal disciple and I will be responsible for all your food, clothing, housing and transportation expenses in the college. Besides, I will do my best to help you obtain the soul ring you need from soul sect to soul sage, and the age limit will never be lower than your current 10,000-year soul ring, and also, immediately, Flender explained the benefits he had promised one by one. Not to mention being able to become a disciple of a strong soul sage, not only the resources are sufficient, but his identity can avoid a lot of troubles when traveling on the mainland. Moreover, Flender also personally promised to help Tang Ge obtain the soul rings from soul sect to soul sage, and the ages of all of them should not be lower than the 10,000-year level. This is the real big head. It can be clearly seen that Flender wanted Tang Ge to join Shrek Academy with real sincerity. With so many conditions combined, not to mention Tang Ge's heartbeat, even Tang San and the others who stayed here not far away were full of envy. It's a pity that they don't have a share. Coincidentally at this time, Daimyo Bei, who had left with the excuse of a stomach ache before, was probably afraid that the old man in charge of the first test would be angry, so he dawdled for a long time, but came back again. He thought that after such a long time, the kid who made him embarrassing before should have already entered the academy. But as soon as he came here, Daimyo Bei heard Dean Flender's promise to Tang Ge, and the condition scared him so much that he almost fell face down to the ground. Therefore, without saying a word, Daimyo Bei turned around and fled back to the academy. He had even decided in his heart that when he got back, he would immediately pack up and salute and go out to practice directly, so as to save himself from embarrassment when the two met again. At the registration place at the entrance of the village, Daimyo Bei came and left without disturbing anyone. At the moment, everyone's attention is on Dean Flender and Tang Ge. After talking about his conditions, Flender looked directly at Tang Ge, and said very seriously, "This is already all the conditions I can promise. Are you willing?" Tang Ge shook his head after listening. Flender was stunned for a moment, thinking that the other party refused, and immediately looked disappointed. There is nothing wrong with looking down on our academy. After all, a genius like you could have gone to. But before he finished speaking, Tang Ge suddenly interrupted. "Who said I didn't like your college? I want to join. I shook my head just now and just refused to be your personal disciple. Other conditions are fine." This ups and downs, Flender felt like he was going to have a heart attack. But no matter what, at least the academy has finally received a genius student at the whole card level who can dazzle people's eyes when he shows it. Thinking of this, Flender suddenly felt much more comfortable. So he just said with some regret, "Perhaps I am not qualified enough to be your master. But since you joined the academy, I still treat you as a personal disciple, then I should be an official student of the academy now." Hearing Flender's words, Tang Ge asked with a smile. Flender nodded. Not far behind, Xiao Wu, who had been watching this scene, heard the conversation between the two, and finally couldn't help but shout out, "Uncle Dean, what about us, you?" Flender looked back at Tang San, Xiao Wu and the others. His face restored his majesty and said, "Although you are also geniuses, there is still a big gap between you and Tang Ge, so continue to follow the academy's procedures." "What? Continue to go through the process?" Hearing this, Xiao Wu almost couldn't help running away. In the end, it was Tang San who held her back with a wry smile, and threw a resentful look at Tang Ge who enjoyed special treatment. Seeing this, Tang Ge shrugged, expressing that there was nothing he could do to help. No idea. Who made the gap between geniuses and geniuses? Flender, as the dean, naturally didn't care about the dissatisfaction of a group of children. He looked at the old man in charge of the initial test, and said, "I'll let you arrange them. I have other things to do, so I need to leave for a while." The old man heard it and nodded. Immediately, Flender flew into the air, flapped a pair of wings and flew towards the outside of the village, and disappeared in the blink of an eye. "Wait until the person is gone." The old man looked at the group of students who were still here and passed the initial test, and he couldn't help frowning, thinking to himself, "What's going on? Mubei hasn't come here yet. Forget it, don't look for him anymore." Thinking of this, the old man yelled again towards the village. "Oscar, come out." This time no one answered him. But after a while, there was a sudden yelling sound getting closer and closer, followed by a figure standing on a small cart and rushing towards this side. It was obvious that the other party was a man with a beard, who kept shouting, "Hey, there are so many people here, do you want to buy a sausage?" When the old man heard it, his face twitched slightly. Then he looked at Tang Ge and Tang San and the others, pointed to the man pushing the cart, and spoke with a smile. "This is Oscar. Although it hasn't been long since I entered the academy, I am very familiar with the academy. It will be no problem to take you to the next exam." "He is also a student of the academy?" Looking in the direction the old man pointed, everyone saw the bearded man on the cart, and their eyes suddenly filled with strangeness. Xiao Wu was blunt, and couldn't help but said, "Teacher, isn't your academy only accepting students under the age of 12? Why do you even accept uncles?" Hearing Xiao Wu's words, the bearded man who had just pushed the cart over staggered and fell off the cart. After he got up from the ground, he immediately snorted anxiously. "Student, did you call me uncle just now? Come on, I'm Oscar, only 14 years old. When I shave my beard, I will let you see my handsome, suave, and graceful side." End of this chapter. Period. Chapter 63. I want another one, please. I'm only 14 years old, Oscar. When I shave my beard, I'll show you my handsome, suave, graceful side. After speaking, Oscar put on a pose that he thought was very handsome. The old man in charge of the initial test couldn't stand it anymore and kicked Oscar directly. "I asked you to come here and take the first-time students to the next step of the assessment. Where is there so much nonsense? Get out." "Okay, teacher." Diddy, ride on my beloved stroller. Students, follow me." Oscar helped the goggles on his forehead, and immediately jumped onto the sausage cart and walked directly towards the village. After Tang Ge, Tang San and the others said goodbye to the old man, they followed into the village. After entering the village, after introducing each other, Tang San, Ning Rongrong, and Zhu Ziuqing all got to know each other. But after a while, probably because there was no teacher here, Oscar couldn't help but started selling his sausages. Several students, "Do you want some sausage?" Sensing the expectant eyes from Oscar, Tang San always felt that this face was extremely awkward. He still had some doubts. "Are you really only 14 years old?" When Oscar heard this, he was immediately unhappy. He stopped the trolley and said with an extremely serious expression, "You can doubt my character, but you must not question my age. I, Oscar, am 14 years old this year, a Shrek early stage birth, and anyone you ask will know that I am 14 years old. So you can't just call me uncle just because my hair is thicker." Tang San was speechless for a while, looking at Oscar's thick beard. He thought to himself, "Your hair can't be explained by a little lushness." Of course, even though he thought so, Tang San said apologetically, "Senior, I'm really sorry, I was the one to be rude just now. How do you sell these sausages in your car? Give me a taste." When Oscar heard this, he was overjoyed. He quickly threaded a 10-centimeter long sausage on a bamboo stick and handed it to Tang San, saying happily, "As long as you eat my sausages, I won't be angry. One sincere benefit and one silver soul coin." Tang San nodded, took out a silver coin and gave it to Oscar. Then he tasted the sausage in his hand, his eyes lit up, and he opened his mouth in surprise. "This sausage is delicious." Upon hearing this, Oscar narrowed his eyes in joy. Immediately, he couldn't wait to start selling it to others. "Would you like a sausage?" Next to Tang San, Xiao Wu stretched out her finger and poked him, asking in a low voice, "Is it really delicious?" "Ah." Tang San nodded. After getting Tang San's confirmation, Xiao Wu, who likes delicious food, couldn't help but speak loudly. "Give me one, I also want." Ning Rongrong, who was wearing a long white dress, followed suit. As for Zhu Ziuqing, he still had that cold and indifferent look. Soon, Xiao Wu and Ning Rongrong each took a sausage and started to eat it. Then there were bursts of exclamations. Ah! What is this sausage made of? It's so delicious. Ning Rong Rong, haven't eaten anything, it's just a sausage, it's delicious. Is there any more? I want another one. Seeing the two beautiful female classmates eating a sausage so happily, Oscar was so moved that his eyes almost filled with tears. He couldn't help but said, "It's okay, eat whatever you want, I still have a lot here." With that said, Oscar looked at Tang Ge and Lin Yuchen again. He asked expectantly, "Aren't you going to eat?" Hearing Oscar's words, and realizing that the girl next to her, Xiaojun, was also eager to try, Tang Ge suppressed a smile and nodded. "The sausage on this car has been around for a long time, why don't you bring me a fresh one?" Not far away, Xiao Wu and Ning Rongrong are enjoying delicious food. When they heard that Tang Ge was even fresher, the two of them showed disdain on their pretty faces. Ning Rongrong even snorted and said, "I am a majestic seven treasures. Ning Rongrong, are not picky, but you are a man who is picky." What a shame. For Ning Rongrong's disdain, Tang San smiled and said nothing. Oscar, who was originally happy, suddenly froze and became hesitant. "What? No fresh ones?" Tang Ge urged with a smile. In desperation, Oscar could only stretch out his right hand, and let out a wretched cry in his soft voice. "I have a big sausage." As the yellow light condensed in his palm, two yellow halos immediately rose from under his feet. Immediately afterwards, a sausage that was exactly the same as the one being roasted on the car appeared in Oscar's palm. In front of the car, when Tang San heard Oscar's words, "I have a big sausage," he froze a bit. Then when he saw the big sausage emerging from the opponent's hand, he suddenly felt his stomach churning. As for Xiao Wu and Ning Rongrong, who were eating happily, they even threw away the sausage in their hands, bent over and vomited. It was faintly visible that Zhu Huking's body was trembling slightly with a cold face, as if he was holding back a smile. But when she looked at Oscar, her eyes were full of unkindness. Next to Tang Ge, Lin Yuchen's face turned even redder when she came back to her senses. She couldn't help pinching the corner of her clothes, and whispered, "Brother, did you already know?" "What did you already know? Don't talk nonsense, I don't know anything." Tang Ge immediately shook his head in denial. What a joke. If Qing dared to admit this, he might be besieged by a group of tigresses, as predicted. After Xiao Wu and Ning Rongrong vomited, they immediately looked at Oscar with vicious eyes. One could faintly feel that their soul power began to fluctuate. Just about to explain, Oscar's heart trembled. He didn't even want the car, and ran away to the distance without saying a word. Behind him, there was a sharp scream full of anger. Go to hell. Xiao Wu and Ning Rongrong, who were blown up in anger, actually used their martial spirits directly, chasing and killing the escaped Oscar. Tang Ge and the others also did not expect this result. Fearing that something might happen, they quickly followed after them. In this way, a group of people unknowingly missed the second and third entrance tests, and ran straight to the direction of the last test. It was only after Oscar was caught up by Xiao Wu and Ning Rongrong in the end, and suffered a severe beating that he couldn't fight back, that they were shocked to realize that they had overrun. Immediately, a burly figure came into everyone's eyes. 10 meters away, under the eaves, a middle-aged man with an extremely burly but slightly short stature was lying on a wicker chair with his eyes closed, breathing deafeningly. Xiao Wu and Ning Rongrong hadn't finished venting their anger before, and they still wanted to continue to fight. Oscar was startled immediately. He hurriedly put on a mournful face, pointed at the man lying on the wicker chair, and said in a low voice, "Grandma, calm down. Did you see that lying there is Mr. Zhao Waoqi, who is known as the Feudal King in our academy? If you offend that one, we will all be in trouble." End of this chapter. Chapter 64. Unmoving Ming Wang Zhao Waoqi. Unmoved King Zhao Wuji? Hearing Oscar's reminder, Xiao Wu and Ning Rongrong, who raised their fists, immediately lowered their fists. Under the almost pleading eyes of the other party, the two of them snorted directly. "I'll forgive you this time, and you are not allowed to sell those broken sausages in front of us in the future." When they said this, Xiao Wu and Ning Rongrong couldn't help but recall the previous scene again, and their stomachs churned again. And after slowly calming down now, the two also realized that something was wrong. Why did Tang Ge wait for them to finish eating before asking for a fresh sausage? This guy should have known it earlier. So Ning Rongrong, in a long white dress, walked in front of Tang Ge. She looked up at the young man in front of her, who shocked even the head of the academy, and said angrily, "Say, did you do it on purpose, beauty?" I treat you as a classmate, you can't wrong me, Tang Ge said with an innocent face. But Ning Rongrong didn't believe it at all. She showed a pair of small canine teeth, pinched her waist with her hands and threatened viciously. HMPH, I don't care how powerful your spirit ring is, if I find out that you lied to me, Ning Rongrong, will definitely not let you go. After finishing speaking, Ning Rongrong turned around and walked away, leaving only Tang Ge proud back. Tang Ge smiled without being angry, and turned his gaze back to Oscar. Senior Oscar, tell us about that teacher Zhao? Oscar didn't answer, but turned his head and underestimated a few times, and another wave of soul power appeared. When he turned around again, the wound on his face miraculously healed. Tang Ge was dumbfounded. It seems that he was secretly eating sausage just now. Seemingly aware of Tang Ge's weird gaze, Oscar was suddenly embarrassed. But then he calmed down, and said in a low voice, originally, Senior Daimyo should have brought you here today, but he didn't know where he went, so I was responsible for guiding you to participate in the test. As far as I know, this Mr. Zhao is in charge of the invigilator of the fourth pass, testing the actual combat ability of the new students entering the academy. It's just a test of actual combat ability. What Xiao-san and I are most afraid of is actual combat. After Xiao Wu heard this, she said indifferently. Tang San stretched out his hand to pull Xiao Wu, told her not to speak, then smiled at Oscar. Senior, please continue talking. Oscar nodded. The fourth test is to test the actual combat experience. Some students have good martial arts, and they are also good at controlling the martial arts. But because he lived in an aristocratic family and grew up in a honeypot, he didn't know much about the outside world, let alone fighting. So for such students, the academy does not accept them. The dean said that the pampered and spoiled are all rejected. This time Xiao Wu was silent, but Ning Rongrong couldn't help but said, are you picking students or wives? This is too strict. What's more, whoever said that children from noble families are spoiled and spoiled, I am different. At the end, Ning Rongrong couldn't help but proudly raised her head, as if to prove how good she is. Oscar had just been beaten by this ent, so he didn't dare to refute. He just pointed to the figure lying on the wicker chair in the distance, and said with a wry smile, however, no matter how rich the actual combat is, it will be difficult to get to this last stage, do you know? Mr. Zhao is a level 76 Soul Sage Beast Martial Soul, Holy Battle Soul. He is the vice president of the college, and his comprehensive strength is second only to the dean. If Mr. Zhao suddenly wants to test your actual combat ability on a whim, then you will be really miserable. When it came to the end, Oscar seemed to have thought of something bad, and couldn't help but shudder. The pupils of Tang San and the others also shrank slightly. Level 76? If you add the dean of the academy, wouldn't this Shrek Academy have 2 Soul Sage level powerhouses? At this time, Ning Rongrong also suddenly let out an exclamation. I remembered, he turned out to be the feudal king Zhao Wuji who had conflicts with his spirit hall. He had been missing on the mainland for 10 years, but he didn't expect to be a teacher at Shrek Academy. I heard that back then, feudal Ming Wang Zhao Wuji had a feud with the Wuhandian. Wuhandian wanted to punish him, but he rushed out from the siege of 16 bishops. Afterwards, that matter was over. You must know that the bishops of the Wuhan Temple are all Soul Emperor powerhouses above level. At that time, Zhao Wuji should only be in the, S. He didn't expect that he is now a Soul Saint. This is too powerful. Unexpectedly, as soon as Ning Rongrong finished speaking, a burst of ear-splitting laughter suddenly came. Ha! I didn't expect that I, Zhao Wuji, had been missing for 10 years, and there would be a little girl who knew about my past history. I originally wanted to pretend to sleep, but since you're so interested in me, I will work hard, and let me conduct your last actual combat test. However, more than 10 meters away, the burly figure who was originally lying on the recliner got up and walked directly towards this side. Soon, this figure appeared in front of Tang Ge and the others. It was Zhao Wuqi, who was known as the feudal Ming King. Here, Tang Ge is the tallest, almost 1.7 meters tall. And Tang San is slightly shorter, only about 1.6 meters. But Zhao Wuji who came over was actually a little shorter than Tang San, but his burly figure gave off a very majestic feeling. He glanced at Tang Ge and the other 5, and nodded in satisfaction. Not bad, it looks like it should warm me up, this. Mr. Zhao, shouldn't Senior Daimyo take the lead in the 4th test arranged by the principal? Besides, I just remembered that they haven't gone to the 3 test points in front of them yet, Hearing that Zhao Waoqi was really going to end in person, Oscar was shocked and said hastily. Then he wanted to call Tang Ge and the others to leave. But it's a pity, since Zhao Wuji got up, how could he allow these people to leave? He directly reached out and grabbed Oscar's collar and threw it away. At the same time he said dissatisfied, "That kid Yubei didn't come. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Go sell your sausages, PFFT." Oscar immediately fell into a bush 7 or 8 meters away, and he crawled out of it after a while. But he didn't leave, but yelled directly. "Students, if Mr. Zhao takes action, you can ask for blessings, but don't worry, I have all kinds of sausages for restoring soul power and healing injuries, and I can provide them to you for free, far away." Tang San and the others didn't pay attention to Oscar, who still didn't forget to sell his sausage at this moment. And all their attention was focused on the imposing Zhao Waoqi. Because he knew that the other party was a soul sage, Tang San spoke first. "Senior, please explain in advance, how can we pass this final assessment? Please recommend, ask for a reward." End of this chapter. Chapter 65. Are you sure you want me to join? Hearing Tang San's inquiry, Zhao Wuji nodded in satisfaction. "That's right, if you can continue to remain calm knowing that I am a soul sage, you are also qualified to stand in front of me. That being the case, let me report their names and soul power levels first, and let me see how their strength is. If the strength can. In the next assessment, as long as you can support me for more than a stick of incense, even if there is only one person left in the end, I will count you as passing the assessment." After speaking, he stood aside with his arms folded. "Is it time for a stick of incense?" Tang San took a deep breath, and was the first to speak. "My name is Tang San. I have the martial spirit blue silver grass, a level 29 control system battle soul master, Zhao Wu, beast martial soul rabbit, level 29 assault department soul master." Seeing that Tang San had spoken, Zhao Wu reported it herself. Next came Lin Yujin and Zhu Zhuking. Lin Yujin, the beast spirit, the elf of the forest, a level 31 assault type battle spirit master, Zhu Zhuking, a ghost civet with a beast spirit, a level 27 combat soul master of the agility department. Okay? There is actually a 31st level soul venerable student? And when will blue silver grass be able to cultivate to level 29? Zhao Wu and Zhu Zhuking's strength and spirit were quite satisfactory, but after hearing about Tang San and Lin Yuchen's situation, Zhao Wuji's thick and short eyebrows couldn't help but raised. In particular, the strength of Lin Yuchen's level 31 battle soul lord surprised him even more. For a moment, Zhao Waoqi couldn't help thinking to himself, it seems that the academy has recruited a lot of good seedlings this year. At this time, Ning Rongrong, who was dressed in a long white dress, hesitated for a moment, and then said, "Ning Rongrong, Kibao Glazed Pagoda of Kiwuhan, a level 26 auxiliary system soul master." As a result, as soon as she finished speaking, she felt that everyone's eyes were on her. Tang San was even more surprised and said, "Your martial spirit is the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile Pagoda. So, are you from the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile School?" Being watched by so many people together, Ning Rongrong suddenly felt a little embarrassed. She stuck out her lovely tongue, and said, "Don't look, I'm no different from ordinary people. Wait a while, I'll give you some support, and it shouldn't be a problem if you stick to it for a while." The martial soul of the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile Pagoda has been passed down from generation to generation, and in the entire Douluo Continent, only direct descendants of the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile School can possess it. The Soul Master's evaluation of the weapon soul of the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile Pagoda has only one simple sentence: Panji, the most powerful auxiliary soul, and the best partner of all combat soul masters. Enough to separate how popular the sect should be on the mainland. Unfortunately, this is not a threat to Zhao Wuji. He was just surprised that the little princess of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School would sneak out of the house and join Shrek Academy directly. Finally, Zhao Waoqi's eyes fell on Tang Ge, who was the only one who hadn't introduced himself yet. "Little guy, what about you? Me? I don't need it." Tang Ge froze for a moment, then shook his head and said. Hearing Tang Ge's refusal, Zhao Waoqi frowned, showing displeasure on his face. Fortunately, Tang San explained in time. Mr. Zhao, Tang Ge is in a special situation. He was admitted to the academy by the dean himself during the first test point. This time, he just followed us to familiarize himself with the environment, so he doesn't need to participate in the assessment. Okay? What kind of talent is this kid? actually worthy of the dean personally coming forward to admit him into the academy. Hearing Tang San's words, Zhao Wuji immediately thought of the previous roar, and couldn't help but glance at Tang Ge again. Then he didn't continue to ask, and nodded to Tang San and the others. In this case, there are only 5 of you. In addition, in order to prevent some people from saying that I bully children, I will tell you about my abilities first. My martial soul is the powerful beast martial soul Great King Kong Bear. It is good at defense, the kind that is almost immovable. There's nothing else to say about the rest, and it's useless to say it, so you don't have to hold out too much hope. Hearing Zhao Wuji's words, Tang San and the others couldn't help being speechless for a while. Is it necessary to hit people like this? But they didn't say anything. After getting the preparation time given by Xiao Waoqi, they hurriedly got together to discuss tactics. As for Zhao Wuji, who was fine for the time being, he stared straight at Tang Ge, making Tang Ge feel hairy. Fortunately, the time for a stick of incense passed quickly. Zhao Wuji's gaze finally moved away from Tang Ge, and after Tang San and the other 5 quickly dispersed, he directly planted a newly lit stick of incense on the ground. Then, he announced directly, "The assessment starts now." As the words fell, along with the fluctuation of his soul power, Zhao Waoqi, who looked burly and abnormal, was directly possessed by his martial soul, turning into a violent bear with infinite strength. And Tang San and the others didn't hesitate, and immediately launched an attack. 7 or 8 meters away. Tang Ge did not know when he had appeared beside Oscar, sitting on the rock, watching with relish the fight between Tang San and 5 people and Xiao Waoqi in the empty field. Aside, Oscar also knew that Tang Ge was admitted without examination. He couldn't help asking, "Tang Ge, do you think Tang San and the others can last a stick of incense in the hands of Teacher Zhao?" Disaster. Tang Ge shook his head and said, "Although there are more Lin Yuchins in the current situation than in the original plot, Xiao Waoqi also directly used Wuhan possession at the beginning. He is not like the original plot, he was turned upside down at the beginning of the game. Not only that, after Xiao Waoqi activated the soul skill Fudo Myoko body of the first soul ring, he was able to attack and defend in one body, and completely became the real Fudo Myoko. Tang San and 5 people's attacks fell on him, not only could not hurt him, but they would be hurt by the counter-shock force. A stick of incense time? Except that Tang San used his hidden weapon directly in the end as in the original plot, otherwise it would be really difficult to persist for such a long time. Oscar naturally didn't know about this situation. But he knew Xiao Waoqi's strength, so he nodded in sympathy when he heard Tang Ge's words. It's really hard, difficult is difficult, but if I also play, the result will not be certain, Tang Ge added with a smile as predicted. It didn't take long, with Zhao Wuji's repeated efforts. The 4 girls of Xiao Wu couldn't hold on and were swept out of the stage, and finally only Tang San was left. And up to now, the stick of incense stuck on the ground has only burned less than half of its length. But I don't know if he heard the discussion between Tang Ge and Oscar. When Xiao Wu fell into coma, Tang San wanted to explode with all his anger. Zhao Wuji stopped suddenly. He yelled directly in Tang Ge's direction, "Young boy named Tang Ge, don't look at it, it's yours, come here too, let me weigh your strength." Tang Ge raised his eyebrows slightly, stood up. He chuckled lightly. "Mr. Zhao, are you sure you want me to join? Ask for recommendation tickets every day, ask for a reward, PK will start today, please take care of me." End of this chapter. Chapter 66. Tang Ge enters the arena, the strongest support. "Mr. Zhao, are you sure you want me to join?" Tang Ge stood up from the ground and said with a light smile. 7 or 8 meters away. Seeing Tang Ge's indifference, Zhao Wuji suddenly became angry, and couldn't help shouting, "You are such a mother-in-law at such a young age? Come here as soon as you are asked. Where's there so much nonsense?" Tang Ge couldn't help but rolled his eyes when he was told. But he still raised his feet and walked towards the opposite side. After all, he wanted to gather wool. You can't just sit in a lot of wool will fall from the sky, right? Oscar's expectant voice of encouragement came from behind. "Tang Ge, come on. Get ready for the sausages. I guess Teacher Zhao will need to eat some after the battle is over." Tang Ge smiled, and waved his hand without looking back. These words made Xiao Waoqi's chest almost burst with anger, and the 7 soul rings representing the soul sages emerged uncontrollably under his feet. When Tang Ge came over, he stared at Tang Ge and spoke fiercely. "Sharp-toothed little guy, I'll beat you to pieces later." "Not always." Tang Ge replied with a smile, then looked at Tang San, who was hugging the unconscious Xiao Wu, and asked, "How is it? Can we continue?" "I can continue, but with the two of us." Tang San looked a little dignified. But before he finished speaking, Tang Ge suddenly interrupted, "Who said there are only two of us?" After finishing speaking, under Tang San's, Ningrongrong's and Zhu Zhuking's suspicious gazes, the yin-yang life and death picture of Tang Singer's martial soul appeared, and at the same time, 2 purple and 1 black soul rings appeared at his feet. Because I don't know what happened at the gate of the village. So when he saw the 2 soul rings emerging from Tang Ge, Zhao Waoqi, who was originally angry, stared with disbelief. This kid actually has a 1,000-year soul ring and a 10,000-year soul ring? He's a liar. Ding dong, congratulations to the host, you shocked Zhao Waoqi, and gained, shock points, yo. You have contributed your own wool so quickly. Hearing the system prompt in his mind, Tang Ge's eyes lit up immediately. Without hesitation, he continued to display his first and second soul skills. Tang Ge first saw a milky white beam of light appear, which directly poured into the unconscious Xiao Wu's body. As Xiao Wu's pale face returned to rosy, and he faintly seemed to wake up, he imprinted his martial spirit on several companions. In the end, the formation of life and death directly covered a radius of 10 meters. Within this range, no matter Tang San, Ningrongrong, or Zhu Zhuking and Lin Yuchen, they all felt that their injuries were recovering at an extremely fast speed. In the blink of an eye, they completely recovered, and even recovered most of the soul power they had consumed before, and Tang San and the others could clearly feel that as long as this large white formation on the ground existed, they would always receive continuous treatment. This surprised the 4 of them, but at the same time shocked them incomparably. Just in time, Xiao Wu, who was in a coma, also faintly woke up. When she found herself lying in Tang San's arms at this moment, her pretty face blushed first, and then she couldn't help asking doubtfully, "Little San, didn't I get injured and passed out? Why does it feel like I'm not hurt now?" "It was Tang Ge who cured you with his soul skills," Tang San explained. Seeing this, Tang Ge couldn't help laughing and teasing, "Xiao Wu, you're already awake, why don't you wake up? Now is not the time for you and Xiaozhen to kiss me, HMPH, I won't let you care." Hearing Tang Ge's words, Xiao Wu's pretty face blushed again, and she couldn't help but snorted coquettishly. But despite saying this, she still hurriedly left Tang San's embrace, and stood up again from the ground. In an instant, not only did the 5 members of the challenge team who had been named return to their peak, but they also had Tang Ge, a talented student who was directly exempted from the entrance examination. On the opposite side, Xiao Waoqi saw the whole scene in front of his eyes. Although he couldn't appreciate the effect of the white light array on the ground, he saw Xiao Wu waking up intact, and Tang San and the others recovering from their injuries. This made Zhao Wuji increase Tang Ge's original weight in his heart by countless times. Therefore, Zhao Waoqi finally put away the contempt in his heart. He looked at Tang Ge, who was turning the situation around with one hand. His eyes couldn't stop showing appreciation. He laughed and said, "Little guy, you are gradually arousing my fighting spirit. Come, tell me, what level is your soul power?" Tang Ge, the life and death map of Wuhan Yin and Yang, a level 39 soul master, the strongest auxiliary soul master. Tang Ge finally said the name of his Wuhan for the first time. At the same time, his third 10,000-year spirit ring also rose from under his feet. At this moment, Tang Ge was once again surrounded by 3 soul rings, 1 purple, 2 black, dazzling. Seeing this, Xiao Waoqi's smiling expression froze for a moment, and he felt jealous. He could no longer maintain his image as a teacher, so he squatted down on the ground, then jumped up and rushed towards Tang Ge. In mid-air, Zhao Waoqi's loud shouts came out immediately. The game continues. Obviously at this moment, Xiao Waoqi had completely given up on Ningrongrong, and listed Tang Ge as the first person to be dealt with. 1 purple and 2 black, the opening shot is the resurrection of all members. This kind of therapeutic auxiliary ability can no longer be described as exaggerated. It's simply perverted. If Tang Ge was allowed to stay, Zhao Wuji had a faint feeling that he might overturn today. That's why he chose to attack Tang Ge without hesitation. But when Zhao Wuji soared into the air, Tang San, who had incomparably rich experience in actual combat, instantly realized the opponent's purpose. He immediately shouted, "Everyone try their best to entangle Mr. Zhao, don't let him get close to Tang Ge." Not far away, Hearing Tang San's arrangement, although Ning Rongrong was somewhat unwilling. After all, before this, she was the strongest support in the team and the one who needed to be protected. Now, in the blink of an eye, I have to protect others. Ning Rongrong naturally felt extremely uncomfortable. But she also knew that this was not the time to be entangled in these things, so she gritted her teeth and directly used her 2 soul skills. I saw the 7 treasure glazed tile pagoda turning rapidly in Ning Rongrong's hand, and then gave a light drink. The 7 treasures are famous. One is called power, the 7 treasures are famous, and the second is speed. Accompanied by the soft shout, streaks of light suddenly flew out and landed on Tang Ge and the others. They immediately felt a noticeable increase in their strength and speed. So Tang San immediately seized the opportunity, as the blue-silver grass erupted with blue light, directly gathered more than 10 thick and long vines soaring into the sky, frantically rushing towards Zhao Qi, who was still in midair. The new book has started to PK, it is related to the recommendation later. Please pass by the beauties and handsome guys to vote for recommendation, bookmark and reward. Thank you. End of this chapter. Chapter 67 Vigorous Vajra Palm vs Mahamudra of Life and Death. Because he had fought before, Tang San knew that his second spirit ability Parasite had no effect on Zhao Wuji, who had super defense and strong spirit power. So at this moment, Tang San just urged his first spirit ability entwining with all his strength. Accompanied by the appearance of a large number of vines, like poisonous snakes, they quickly spread to Zhao Wuji's body, entangled his whole body directly. At the same time, Tang San gave another low drink. Xiao Wu, Meteor Hammer, call out. Beside him, Xiao Wu immediately jumped up and tapped his shoulder with her toes, then flew out again, kicking Zhao Wuji's head straight. Seeing this, Zhao Wuji laughed loudly, and wanted to tear the vines wrapped around his body to pieces. But at this moment, a column of milky white light suddenly descended and poured directly into his body. Zhao Wuqi's smile faltered, and his expression was slightly in a trance. Although he quickly regained consciousness, Xiao Wu, who flew up with the help of Tang San's martial spirit, also appeared in front of him. Boom! Hearing a dull sound, Xiao Wu kicked Zhao Wuji's heart fiercely with all her strength. Then, Zhao Wuji directly brought vines down from the sky, and hit the ground heavily. A big hole was smashed out by him in no time. But the attack did not end there. When Zhao Wuji broke free from the entanglement of vines and stood up from the pit, Lin Yujin, who was already ready to go in the distance, let go of her fingers instantly. Spiral arrow of the wind, call out. Accompanied by the sound of piercing through the air, a rapidly spinning sharp arrow directly brought a green tail flame and appeared in front of Zhao Wuji. Zhao Wuqi's eyes were fixed, and the vines wrapped around his body were instantly torn apart after the burst of vigorous soul power. Then, he would reach out to grab the spiral arrow that appeared in front of him. But just as Zhao Wuji raised his hand, another white beam of light descended from the sky. I am Nima. At the moment when he felt conscious and in a trance, he suddenly opened his eyes and glared at Tang Ge, who was standing at the back. At this moment, Xiao Wuqi really wanted to talk about the urge to tear Tang Ge apart. Puff. At the same time, the flying spiral arrow directly hit Zhao Wuji's heart because he was not blocked. The spiral arrow was in a stalemate with Xiao Wuqi's Fudo Ming Wang body in the rapid rotation, like iron rubbing against each other, and there was a harsh friction sound immediately. Boom. Zhao Wuji finally regained consciousness, and suddenly raised his hand to shatter the spiral arrow. But when he looked down, he suddenly found that there was blood oozing from his heart. I was actually injured? While Zhao Wuqi was astonished at this moment, strong anger gushed out uncontrollably in his heart. Then he suddenly raised his head and stared at Zhu Huqing, who had turned into an afterimage in midair and was approaching rapidly. You guys really pissed me off. Roar. A roar suddenly came from Zhao Wuji's mouth. The sound waves containing soul power blasted away. Not only Tang San and the others were stunned by the shock, Zhu Huqing, who had just rushed over, even fell from midair. There was a look of pain on her cold face. At the same time, a big hand suddenly struck and grabbed her neck directly behind. Ning Rongrong couldn't help but exclaimed when she saw this scene. Careful, Xiao Wu makes a move. Tang San also discovered this scene, and immediately shouted anxiously. Hearing Tang San's arrangement, a red light flashed in Xiao Wu's eyes, who had already been prepared, and she instantly looked at Zhao Wuji, who was going straight to Zhu Huqing. Charm skill, activate. But unfortunately, just as the red light fell on Zhao Wuji, Xiao Wu suddenly groaned and took a few steps back. But immediately afterward, A milky white beam of light fell on her body and began to heal her injuries. The large white formation under her feet also allowed Xiao Wu to enjoy continuous healing. Tang San seemed to know this a long time ago, and wasn't worried about Xiao Wu. He just stretched out a slender vine at the same time that the opponent used the charm skill. In the end, this vine took the first step to wrap around Zhu Zhuking's body, and directly took him back 5 or 6 meters away quickly. Later, Tang Ge, who had been paying attention to the situation, smiled slightly. With a strong soul power in his body surging wildly, he used the first soul skills one after another. At the same time, the large white formation covering the ground also changed rapidly, turning into a large black formation. Death start, puff puff, puff. Zhao Wuji, who had just rushed to the place where Zhu Zhuking was originally, felt the trick of fate again. The opalescent beams of light that appeared one after another fell down and poured into his body continuously, making him so comfortable that he stopped involuntarily. Damn it. What the hell is this healing skill? I should be angry, but why do I feel happy? Zhao Wuji's body was out of control, he could only roar desperately in his heart. Hurry up. Seeing this scene, Tang Ge couldn't help but urge him. Tang San and Five felt a blessing of the new formation under their feet, looked at each other, and then attacked Zhao Wuji again without hesitation. Because of the corrosiveness of the death battle to the soul power, the power of Zhao Wuji's Fudo King body was greatly reduced, and it could no longer stop the toxins on Tang San's blue-silver grass. But after a while, he became embarrassed. His whole body was swollen, as if he had been stung by countless scorpions. Not only that, after Zhu Zhuking's martial soul possessed his body, his sharp claws slashed down, and even scratched bloodstains on Zhao Wuji's body. Puff. A sharp spiral arrow came through the air, directly piercing Zhao Wuji's arm. Blood splashed out immediately. At the same time, the yin force attached to the arrow eroded into Zhao Wuji's body and began to destroy wantonly in his body. It's just because of the opalescent beams of light that Tang Ge released one after another just now. Zhao Wuqi is receiving continuous treatment at the same time. But even so, he finally woke up from the pain. Glancing at the incense sticks on the ground not far away, they were all burned to the lowest point. Zhao Wuqi's face twitched in frustration. He never thought that his majestic soul sage would be so embarrassed by a group of teenagers. And the instigator of all this is that nasty brat who can release beams of light. No, I must take revenge. Gravity increases. Thinking of this, Zhao Wuji finally couldn't bear it, and immediately used his third soul skill. At this moment, whether it was Tang San or Xiao Wu, they all just felt as if a mountain fell on their shoulders, and the plop and plop that couldn't hold on directly fell to the ground. Their faces were flushed under the pressure, and they couldn't move, let alone continue to attack. Zhao Wuji didn't even look at these little fellows, his eyes fixed on Tang Ge, who was the only one standing at the end. His eyes turned cold, and he gritted his teeth and said, "Stinky boy, I have tolerated you for a long time. Now that your companions are all down, I see how you can continue to hide behind vigorous Vajra palm." Following the roar, Zhao Wuji suddenly raised his palm, gathered a big golden hand and patted Tang Ge directly. Facing the air palm that came straight towards him, Tang Ge was not only not afraid, but smiled lightly. "Mr. Zhao, who said that I have been hiding?" Immediately, he squeezed his handprints, and in the fluctuation of the yin-yang diagram of life and death, a big hand with a yin-yang key continuously flowing was also condensed in midair. At this moment, vigorous Vajra palm versus Mahamudra of life and death. End of this chapter. Chapter 68. Because Tang Ge has used since entering the arena, whether it is the beam of light that can heal and limit, or the black and white light array that covers the ground, they all correspond to the identity of the auxiliary soul master, he said. So except for Lin Yuchen and Tang San, who had seen Tang Ge tearing up a mandala snake with his bare hands, everyone else thought that Tang Ge was really just an auxiliary soul master. Zhao Wuji, who has the cultivation of a soul sage, is no exception. Therefore, after he suppressed Tang San and the others with gravity enhancement, he felt that it was easy to deal with Tang Ge as an auxiliary soul master. As soon as the powerful Vajra palm was used, Zhao Wuji couldn't help laughing and opening his mouth. "Brat, I'm going to smash your little ass today." It's just that before he could stop laughing, black and white light came into his eyes, which suddenly made his eyes widen. On the opposite side, Tang Ge, who seemed to have no backhand at first, appeared at this moment with a yin-yang life and death picture of Wuhan, and suddenly there was a yin-yang key gushing out, and quickly condensed a big half-black and half-white hand in midair. The Mohammedan of life and death, Tang Ge's deep voice sounded, and the big hand formed by him collided violently with a powerful Vajra palm that flew over boom. There was only a loud bang like thunder. Under the incredulous gaze of Tang San and the others, the vigorous Vajra palm just persisted for a moment before being squeezed to pieces. But the giant's black and white hands did not reduce their power, they directly enveloped Zhao Wuji, and pressed down heavily. Before the palm print was closed, Zhao Wuji felt a rapid consumption of his soul power. Even the vitality in his body seems to be being extracted, and it is flowing out continuously, damn it. What kind of soul beast did this kid kill to get such a weird 10,000-year soul ring? Zhao Wuji couldn't help roaring in his heart. As a last resort, he directly bypassed a fourth soul ability and used his fifth soul ability. Gravity squeeze, accompanied by the roar, a black 10,000-year soul ring finally lit up on Zhao Wuji's body. Under the urging of the powerful soul power, the space above his head seemed to be collapsing, and there were bursts of distortions. When the life and death handprint that was just pressed down came into contact with it, a dazzling light erupted instantly. Countless yin and yang qi were constantly torn apart and dissipated. The yin-yang Mahamudra also becomes smaller and smaller. However, because of the blessing of Ning Rongrong's martial soul, Tang Ge's yin-yang Mahamudra move is far more powerful than before. As the two 10,000-year soul skills collided with each other, Zhao Wuji's gravitational squeeze failed to persist until the end. And the yin and yang big handprint that was still left was slapped on Zhao Wuji's body fiercely under Zhao Wuji's angry eyes boom. Accompanied by the deafening noise, smoke and dust billowed everywhere, and everyone present couldn't help shivering. Then they looked at Tang Ge again, their eyes filled with shock and complicated expressions. When did auxiliary soul masters become so powerful? Tang Ge naturally felt the eyes of everyone, because the system's notification sound kept ringing in his mind. While secretly delighted in his heart, Tang Ge also breathed a sigh of relief. Although he is powerful and has reached level 39 Soul Master, but the constant release of soul skills also makes him very tired. Especially the last yin-yang Mahamudra almost drained his little soul power. Fortunately, it's all worth it. The shock value is finally approaching the mark. Thinking of this, Tang Ge showed a smile on his face, and sat cross-legged on the ground. Not far away, surrounded by smoke and dust, a figure slowly walked out of it. It was Zhao Wuji. However, compared with a mighty aura before, Zhao Wuji's clothes are in tatters, and his swollen face is covered with dust. When he saw Tang Ge sitting on the ground, he raised his palm again without saying anything. Tang Ge was taken aback, and quickly said, "Stop. Stop. Stop, what? Are you finally ready to admit defeat?" Zhao Wuji grinned and said with a serious smile. Tang Ge looked helpless, and pointed to the ground not far away. "Mr. Zhao, you misunderstood. I just want to tell you that the time for burning incense has come, time is up." Hearing Tang Ge's words, both Zhao Wuji and Tang San couldn't help turning their heads to look. Sure enough, the stick of incense that was originally inserted on the ground had burned to the bottom of the incense, leaving only a little flame. Seeing this scene, Tang San and the others heaved a sigh of relief. But Zhao Wuji's complexion suddenly darkened. He is a powerful soul saint at level 76, if the news that he was defeated by 6 little guys of level, today spreads, where will he put his face? No. Absolutely can't just forget it. Thinking of this, Zhao Wuji's gaze immediately shifted to Tang Ge again. He sneered and said, "You are not in the scope of this assessment, so it stands to reason that those 5 little guys have already lost. However, if you can slap me and continue to stand, I can admit that they have passed the test." As soon as these words came out, Tang San and the others immediately changed their expressions. Xiao Wu couldn't help but shouted loudly, "You are cheating, that's right, King Fudo Ming didn't dare to admit the fact that he lost, and it's your own face that's being spread out," Ning Rongrong also said angrily. Hearing what these 2 little girls said, Zhao Wuji didn't take it seriously at all. He sneered and said, "I am the biggest other than the dean in this college, so I have the final say here. Of course, if you don't agree, you can turn around and leave now. Shrek Academy doesn't accept students who are timid." You, Xiao Wu and the other 4 girls gritted their teeth in anger. But after Tang San shook his head at them, he stood up from the ground. Looking at Zhao Wuji, Tang San spoke with a very serious expression. "Since Mr. Zhao said so, let the students and Mr. Zhao start again, and have a truly fair competition. Are you sure you want to start over?" Hearing Tang San's words, Zhao Wuji frowned, and said in surprise. I'm sure, Tang San said extremely firmly. Now, when Zhao Wuji looked at Tang San again, his eyes were full of appreciation. He likes students like this who are persistent and don't give up easily. Therefore, Zhao Wuji was ready to nod his head in agreement. But before he could open his mouth, a helpless voice suddenly came over. You two have talked so much, did you ask for my opinion as the client? When Tang San and Zhao Wuji looked in the direction of the sound, they suddenly found that Tang Ge, who was originally sitting on the ground recovering, had stood up at some point. Tang Ge, you? After Tang San came back to his senses, he wanted to speak. But Tang Ge waved his hand and directly interrupted his words, and then looked at Zhao Wuji with a fearless smile on his face. Since Mr. Zhao wants to beat me up so much, I can only reluctantly satisfy Mr. Zhao's wish. I will ask you for a recommendation ticket early in the morning. Mwah. End of this chapter. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 69I, Tang Ge, Convince People with Reason. As Tang Ge spoke, Zhao Wuji's eyes fell on Tang Ge again. He frowned, and said, Little guy, are you sure you're ready to stand and catch my slap? If I'm stronger, I'll kill you. But when he said this, Zhao Wuji was thinking in his mind that he should hold back his strength for a while and teach the other party a lesson. Otherwise, when he becomes the teacher of these children in the future, but he can't even beat the students, wouldn't it be embarrassing? It's just that what Zhao Wuji didn't expect next was. After hearing his words, Tang Ge, who was still showing a determined face, hesitated for a moment, but suddenly shook his head. Will people die? Then, I thought about it and let it go. After all, I'm an auxiliary soul master, and I'm still not suitable to join in this kind of fun call. Zhao Wuji was almost so angry that he spurted blood, and his breathing became heavy. It was hard for him to imagine how such a thick-skinned person would appear in Shrek Academy. Also assisting soul masters? Who the hell has ever seen an auxiliary soul master who can crush Lao Tzu's powerful Vajra palm with one palm puff? Someone couldn't help but burst into laughter. Tang Ge turned his head to look, and suddenly found that the laughter was actually made by Zhu Xiuqing. At this moment, Zhu Xiuqing, who was originally icy, had a different smell coming out of him. So Tang Ge couldn't help but praise, Sister Zhu Xiuqing, you have a weird smile. Hearing Tang Ge's words, Zhu Xiuqing's face suddenly tensed, and his previous coldness returned. On the other hand, Ning Rongrong thought that Tang Ge was being sarcastic, and said angrily, Tang Ge, why is Sister Zhu laughing strangely? Can you explain it more clearly? It's so cute, Tang Ge added with a smile. Ning Rongrong, she suddenly felt that she was really stupid just now. How could she care about such a hateful villain? Even when Tang San and the others looked at Tang Ge, their eyes were full of weirdness. As for Zhu Xiuqing, her face and neck were completely covered with red glow. If the assessment hadn't ended, she would have wanted to run away. Giggle. Suddenly, there was the sound of grinding teeth. Tang Ge, who had just molested Zhu Xiuqing on a whim, then remembered that there was a big boss watching beside him. He quickly diverted his attention, looked at Zhao Wuji whose expression was distorted, and said apologetically, Mr. Zhao, don't get me wrong, I just want to relieve the tense atmosphere here, so? Do you want to continue to be poor with me like this? Zhao Wuji glared at Tang Ge, and the joints of his fists clicked. Tang Ge shook his head, his expression suddenly returned to seriousness. He said seriously, Mr. Zhao, I would like to ask sincerely, do you think Xiaozhen and the others really can't get into Shrek Academy with their strength and talent? Okay, you can keep silent. But what I want to say is that I came with them, and if they can't stay today because of you, I will leave too. I believe that whether it is my talent or the talents of the juniors, there is no problem in entering other colleges. You don't think that there are no other academies on this continent except Shrek Academy, do you? And as the saying goes, stay on the front line in everything, and we will meet each other in the future. If Mr. Zhao goes too far now, it will not be a good thing for Mr. Zhao. Maybe one day, someone stronger than Mr. Zhao will beat you up, Mr. Zhao. At the end of the conversation, Tang Ge looked at Zhao Wuji indifferently. Feeling Tang Ge's calm eyes, Zhao Wuji felt a pressure from a 12-year-old child for the first time. And he was actually threatened that someone would beat him up? Zhao Wuji felt extremely uncomfortable, but he had to admit that what the kid in front of him said was not a problem. It's just that he himself is riding a tiger. Once he bowed his head to a group of children, wouldn't he completely lose the face of his majestic Prince Ming? At this moment, Zhao Wuji became extremely entangled. Sushi noticed Zhao Wuji's thoughts. Tang Ge's serious expression changed, and he suddenly smiled and said, "Of course, I also know that the reason why Teacher Zhao did this is for our own good. After all, if you can't cut jade, you can't make it into a weapon, little San, isn't it?" "Ah. Yes, Mr. Zhao is doing it for our own good." When Tang Ge asked him so suddenly, Tang San, who was not far away, couldn't help being taken aback, almost didn't realize it, and then nodded quickly. Tang Ge secretly smiled, looked at Zhao Waoqi, whose expression had eased a lot, and continued to speak. "Mr. Zhao, think again. As the second in command of the academy, you must teach us in the future, right? Not to mention a super genius with 1 purple and 2 blacks at such a young age like me. The talents of Tang San and the 5 of them alone have surpassed 99% of their peers. Think about it, if any one of us becomes a titled Douluo in the future, wouldn't you become the titled Douluo's teacher in a flash? Titled Douluo's teacher. Could it be Mr. Zhao? Are you willing to hand over such a good opportunity to be famous in the world? If it were me, I definitely wouldn't." After so many words were spoken, Zhao Wuji couldn't hold back. He immediately snorted. "I'm not stupid, so naturally I won't give up this opportunity to others. Well, you kid will say, I, Zhao Wuji, will be your teacher for a few years. Oscar, what are you still doing standing there? Get me some sausages to eat." "Okay," Oscar's voice came from afar. But before Oscar came over, Tang Ge smiled and said, "Teacher, let me treat you." After finishing speaking, without waiting for Zhao Waoqi's consent, he waved his hand, and a milky white beam of light without soul skills appeared, pouring directly into the opponent's body. The strong vitality was released, and Zhao Waoqi immediately felt that the wounds on his body were recovering rapidly. He nodded in satisfaction. This soul skill is not bad, but it's a bit of a shame, and it needs to be changed in the future. Now that you have passed the assessment, let Oscar help you arrange a place to live." After finishing speaking, Zhao Waoqi turned around and walked towards the distance with his hands behind his back, with a complacent expression clearly showing on his face. Tang Ge couldn't help curling his lips. Then when he looked back, he found that Tang San, Xiao Wu and the others were staring at him, their eyes full of astonishment. "Is there something on me?" Tang Ge asked suspiciously. The crowd shook their heads. And Ning Rongrong pointed to the direction where Zhao Wuji left, as if he hadn't recovered, and said, "You made Teacher Zhao so angry just now. Did he just leave like that? What do you think?" It was this. Hearing Ning Rongrong's words, a confident smile appeared on Tang Ge's face. Tang Ge, convince people with reason. End of this chapter. Chapter 70. Get up early and draw prize. In the distance, Oscar finally trotted over with 2 scorched little sausages. But here, apart from the few new students who participated in the 4th test, there was no sign of Zhao Waoqi. Oscar looked puzzled, and couldn't help but ask, "Where's Teacher Zhao?" "Just left." Tang Ge patted Oscar's shoulder with a smile, and said, "And you don't have to worry, I've already healed Mr. Zhao's injuries, it's cured." Oscar looked at the little sausage still in his hand, and then at the students in front of him who had gone through a battle but didn't have many injuries. He was immediately a little frustrated. He still wants to take advantage of such a good opportunity to sell a few more sausages? But immediately, Oscar's mood became clear again. Thinking of the wonderful assessment that he saw just now, he was full of excitement, and said happily, "Classmates, you are so amazing. I thought it was impossible for you to pass Teacher Zhao's personal assessment, but not only did you pass, but you also made Teacher Zhao so embarrassed. Also, student Tang Ge, it's really unbelievable that you have 1 purple, 2 black and 3 soul rings. What's the name of that soul skill you used in the end? It can even break Teacher Zhao's powerful Vajra Palm. I want to call you the boss." Seeing that Oscar was more excited than himself, Tang Ge was a little speechless. But when he heard the other party's last words, he smiled and said, "Why would you want to? You just call me boss, and I won't refuse you this. Boss Dai will be angry if he finds out." Oscar's voice suddenly became much weaker. "Boss Dai? That guy Daimube?" Tang Ge raised his eyebrows and smiled. "Then I want to find a chance to meet the boss Dai you mentioned. Maybe he will agree?" But regardless of other things, since the assessment is over, you should take us to arrange a place to live. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about it. Students, come with me. The dean has already made arrangements. Oscar nodded while quickly finishing the little sausage in his hand. Immediately under his leadership, Tang Ge and his party of 6 left the assessment point. Although Shrek Academy is a bit poor compared to other advanced Soul Master academies, being poor also has its advantages. At the very least, building the college in such a small village with fresh air is very beneficial to the cultivation of the students. Soon, Oscar took Tang Ge and 6 people to the place where the students lived. Here, there are 2-story wooden attics, but only the second floor is inhabited. Perhaps because of the special enrollment, Tang Ge was fortunate enough to occupy a small attic by himself, and he could enjoy the beautiful view of the attic to himself. While the others are 2 people, Tang San and Oscar also successfully became roommates. Suddenly, Tang Ge became the envy of several girls again, wishing to directly occupy Tang Ge's residence. But Tang Ge didn't think about giving up the attic, and closed the door tightly as soon as he entered the room. The moment he took off his shoes and sat on the bed, he finally relaxed. Feeling the almost empty soul power in his body, Tang Ge smiled slightly and murmured, "Raise your soul power to level, as soon as possible, and then you can prepare for the 4th soul ring." Immediately, he stopped thinking about it, closed his eyes and began to practice. As the furnace of hell was slightly activated, special elements in the air slowly gathered towards this side, and then entered Tang Ge's body. Under the refinement of the hell furnace, Tang Ge's soul power also began to grow slowly. The next day, just before dawn, Tang Ge, who had practiced all night, suddenly opened his eyes. Hearing the sound of footsteps on the top of the attic in the distance, he couldn't help but shook his head with a smile. "It's been 5 years since we saw each other, but this mistress has learned to climb to the roof to collect the essence of the sun and the moon. By the way, I seemed to hear a system beep during my practice last night." Thinking more about this, Tang Ge's consciousness was immersed in the system panel again. Sure enough, there are 2 system prompts. One of them was contributed by Zhao Wuji, directly providing, shock points. And the other one belonged to Flender, the head of Shrek Academy, with, shock points. It stands to reason that Flender's strength is stronger than Zhao Wuji's, and he will provide more shock value. But now the result is clearly not. Tang Ge felt that perhaps it was because Flender was more shocked than Zhao Wuji. But, how could these 2 big brothers be shocked by me in the dead of night? Could it be because of being beaten up by that person? Tang Ge couldn't figure it out for a moment. But it doesn't matter if you don't understand it, as long as you get the shock value. So seeing that it was still early outside, Tang Ge immediately called up the personal information panel, shocking system, host, Tang Ge, level 39 Soul Master, Martial Soul, Twin Martial Soul, Yin and Yang Life and Death Diagram, 4 Swords of Zuxian, Soul Ring, Yin Yang Life and Death Diagram, Purple, Black, Soul Skill, Joy, Yin Yang Wings, Life and Death Formation, Life and Death Mohammedra, Martial Arts, Random Cloaking Windhammer Method, Secretive Zing Character, Hell Smelting, Heavenly God Fist, Physique, Ancient Saint Physique, Fusion 99%, Shock Value 31,150, it's all ready! Tang Ge glanced at 10 lines, and directly landed on the last column of shock value. Seeing the shock value of more than 3, his eyes lit up immediately. The shock value arrived early in the morning. "It looks like I'm lucky today. Let's draw a prize first." Immediately, Tang Ge said silently in his heart. "Open the heavens roulette, ding dong, consume, shock points, and the roulette of the heavens will open." Following the system prompt, a huge roulette appeared in front of Tang Ge's eyes, and then began to rotate slowly. Tang Ge has long been accustomed to this, and just waited quietly. After a while, the roulette of the heavens stopped, and with a flashing light, the system prompt sounded immediately. "Ding dong, congratulations to the host, you have successfully extracted a Tribulation Thunder Pill." Tribulation Thunder Pill? Tang Ge looked confused, and couldn't help but check the information of a thundering elixir already stored in the system space. Only then did he discover that the main function of this Tribulation Thunder Pill is to increase the success rate of crossing the tribulation. But I don't need to cross the catastrophe. Tang Ge couldn't help feeling a little depressed, but he didn't stop, and continued to smoke again. "Ding dong, congratulations to the host, You have successfully extracted a Yin-Yang Profound Dragon Pill. Yin-Yang Profound Dragon Pill. Take it when you are seriously injured or your life is on the verge of death. It can not only restore the injury, but also make the strength go further after breaking it. Huh? This is a good pill, keep it for now. Although the elixir was drawn the second time, its efficacy made Tang Ge's eyes shine, and his originally depressed mood suddenly eased a lot. At this time, there are still, shock points left, so I can only draw one more time. Tang Ge felt that he was lucky, so he gritted his teeth and used up this last chance. Then, when the wheels of the heavens stopped spinning, a handful of dazzling blue lights suddenly shot up. End of this chapter. Chapter 71 Meteor Tears. The dazzling blue light suddenly surged, shaking Tang Ge's eyes almost blind. But instead of a complaining in his heart, he suddenly became excited. Being able to cause the roulette of the heavens to burst into such a dazzling light is definitely a rare treasure. For a moment, because of excitement, Tang Ge stood up directly from the bed. Regardless of the roof that was about to touch his head, he stared fixedly at the heavenly roulette filled with dark blue light. Gradually, the dark blue light receded. A tear-like dark blue crystal suddenly appeared in Tang Ge's eyes. This. As if thinking of something, Tang Ge's excited body trembled. At the same time, the system notification tone also appeared along with the dark blue crystal, and rang in his mind. Ding dong, congratulations to the host, you have successfully extracted a drop of meteor tears. It turned out to be meteor tears. Hearing the notification sound from the system, Tang Ge couldn't help clenching his fists. He didn't expect that he was so lucky this morning that he got such a precious treasure all at once. You must know that meteor tears are the tears of life and soul of the God King of life in the star-changing world, which is transformed from the energy of his whole body before his death. Meteor tears can not only heal injuries and provide a steady stream of energy needed for cultivation. And it contains the understanding of the life God King on the law of space and time. There are only 2 such meteor tears in the entire star transformation. Once they are all obtained, they must be the future God King of life. Tang Ge didn't expect that one of the meteor tears would fall into his hands. Of course, he didn't expect to become some kind of God King of life, but he cared about the terrifying energy contained in the meteor tears. Tang Ge believed that with this drop of meteor tears, in the process of merging the 10,000-year soul ring to oppress his body, he would definitely be able to raise the ancient holy body to the awakening stage in one fell swoop. And in the future, meteor tears can also provide him with a steady stream of energy. Thinking of this, Tang Ge suppressed the excitement in his heart, and immediately couldn't wait to take out the meteor tears. A dark blue crystal-like tears appeared in the palm of his hand, and as the light radiated, Tang Ge suddenly felt as if his whole body was surrounded by a phantom. The soft and comfortable feeling made him want to indulge in it. Immediately, meteor tears escaped from Tang Ge's palm and directly entered his heart. The hell furnace operates uncontrollably and autonomously. Waves of surging dark blue energy began to pour out from the meteor tears, and then were continuously sucked into the furnace of hell. I do not know how long it has been. When someone knocked on the door of the room, Tang Ge, who had been sitting on the bed with his eyes closed, suddenly opened his eyes. In his body, a certain barrier seemed to be broken through, followed by more and more surging soul power. Although Tang Ge didn't look at the personal information panel, he instantly understood that his soul power had increased by another level. Soul Master. Is this the power of meteor tears? Feeling that the meteor tears that had merged with his heart hadn't changed in the slightest after some consumption just now, Tang Ge was amazed and full of joy. Boom boom boom, Tang Ge, are you awake? Just at this moment, there was another knock on the door, followed by Tang San's inquiry. Tang Ge took a deep breath to calm down his mood slowly. He knew that after his strength had risen to level 40, he could go to the Star Dao Forest to find a soul ring that suited him. But now that he has just entered the academy, Tang Ge plans to stabilize first and wait for a while. And with the support of meteor tears, he believed that after breaking through to Soul Sect, he would usher in another leap forward behind? Impossible. Thinking of this, Tang Ge smiled slightly, got up and got out of bed, and walked towards the door. Outside. When Tang Ge came out, he frowned, and found that besides Tang San, the 4 daughters Xiao Wu and Ning Rongrong were all here. Even Oscar had shaved his beard, and was yawning listlessly looking around in a daze. It wasn't until Tang Ge came out that his dull eyes lit up, and he couldn't wait to urge him. Tang Ge, you are finally awake. Since everyone is here, let's go to eat now. Hey. Oscar, is so pitiful that I won't even let me sleep late. On the side, hearing Oscar's last words full of complaints, Tang San smiled wryly and shook his head. Because he was the one who woke up Oscar. Xiao Wu didn't think so much, her eyes lit up when she heard about eating. Her little belly had been croaking a long time ago, so when she saw Tang Ge coming out, she couldn't help but drag Ning Rongrong, Lin Yuchen, Zhu Huking and the others towards the cafeteria. Did you call me? Don't be dazed, let's go too. Looking at Oscar and Tang San who were still here, after Tang Ge came down from the attic, he spoke with a smile. Then the three of them quickly chased after them. Because it was still early, and Shrek Academy had rented half of the village separately, so it seemed very quiet along the way. But when Tang Ge and the others approached the cafeteria, which was the center of the village, they immediately saw two figures coming from the other half of the village. As the distance got closer and closer, Oscar suddenly yelled out in surprise when he saw the appearance of the person coming from the opposite side. Boss Dai, here, he waved his hand across the way as he shouted. Hearing Oscar's voice, the two figures opposite stopped immediately. One of them was obviously Daimyo Bei who hadn't shown his face for a day. He was also very surprised when he saw Oscar, but when he was about to say hello, he glanced to the side, and turned around and left here uncontrollably. Seeing this, Tang Ge immediately smiled and spoke. So it's you. What's the matter? The old friend is going to leave without talking about the past, then he walked over unhurriedly. Oscar looked confused, and couldn't help asking Tang San, does he know Tang Ge and Boss Dai? Tang San looked hesitant, not knowing whether to say it or not. But after Xiao Wu also recognized Daimyo Bei, she immediately smiled and told what happened to her, Xiao San, and Tang Ge at the Rose Hotel. Hearing that Daimyo Bei actually brought two twin girls to the Rose Hotel, Ning Rongrong, who seemed to know this place, blushed and snorted directly. What a pervert, although Zhu Huking didn't speak. When he looked at Daimyo Bei in the distance, a hint of disgust flashed across his indifferent eyes. Standing beside Tang San, Oscar also had a look of astonishment. He never thought that his boss Dai would have such a glorious history. No wonder he would suddenly disappear when he was asked to bring in new students. But talk. The new classmate Tang Ge is also very good. He actually beat up Boss Dai before entering school. At this moment, Oscar, who came back to his senses, suddenly felt that it would be nice to have a new boss. Ask for a recommendation ticket, ask for a recommendation ticket, ask for a recommendation ticket. End of this chapter. Chapter 72. Not to mention the discussion of Xiao Wu and others later. When Tang Ge walked in front of Daimyo Bei, he immediately smiled and said, I remember seeing you at the entrance of the village yesterday. I wanted to say hello to you, but I didn't expect you to leave suddenly. Daimyo Bei could hear the ridicule in Tang Ge's words, and was so angry that he wanted to punch the opponent, but thinking that he couldn't beat the opponent, so let's forget it. He could only be cheeky and pretend to be innocent. I had a stomach ache at the time. And if I knew that you were coming, brother, I would definitely say hello to the teacher in charge of the first test. By the way, have you and your friends passed the assessment? These words are just for Daimyo Bei to further prove that he doesn't know anything, in order to relieve the embarrassment after meeting Tang Ge suddenly. But the result was unexpected. The sturdy young man next to him seemed to recognize Tang Ge, and suddenly let out an exclamation. Are you Tang Ge? The genius who showed 1 purple, 2 black and 3 soul rings at the entrance of the village yesterday, which alarmed the dean. Tang Ge's attention was attracted, and he fell on this strong young man. He already knew the identity of the other party through the notification sound that appeared in the system just now, but he still smiled and said, if you are talking about the genius Tang Ge who alarmed the dean, it should be me. I don't know what's your name, classmate? Hearing Tang Ge's question, the strong young man patted his heart immediately, and said proudly, Ma Hongjin, Martial Soul Phoenix, Level 28 Battle Soul Master, the future Phoenix. Now it looks like it should still be a grass chicken. Tang Ge couldn't help laughing secretly in his heart. Young Masters Huangshi, that is, Ma Hongjin naturally didn't know what Tang Ge was thinking. After he recognized Tang Ge, he immediately looked at Daimyo Bei again. Because he heard the conversation between Daimyo Bei and Tang Ge just now, Ma Hongjin was very surprised. Boss Dai, since Oscar and Tang Ge are together, they must have passed the test. Everyone knows about this matter, but you don't know? Just pretend. Sensing Ma Hongjin's suspicious eyes, Daimube finally experienced for the first time the lethality of the pig teammate. As a result, the steps he created for himself with great difficulty were dismantled by a pig teammate. Really annoying. But Daimube couldn't scold Ma Hongjin at this moment. He could only explain with an embarrassed smile, I went out on something before, so I don't know much about it. Tang Ge smiled without revealing it. His eyes fell on Ma Hongjin, and found that this guy was constantly looking at Xia Wu and the girls in the distance with lecherous eyes. He reached out and patted the other person's shoulder, squinted his eyes and asked, how is it? Does it look good? Nice? Ma Hongjin nodded involuntarily. Tang Ge's eyes narrowed almost interline, and a cold light flashed through them, and even Daimube next to him couldn't help but shiver, and immediately stepped back a few steps. But Ma Hongjin didn't know, and even rubbed his hands and said embarrassedly, Tang Ge, don't you know all these beautiful female classmates? Can you introduce one to me? Okay, Tang Ge agreed directly. Ma Hongjin didn't expect this result either, but after being stunned for a moment, he suddenly became excited. His face was flushed. And he said impatiently, then let's go there now. Don't worry, come here, I will give you a trick first. Tang Ge smiled, and walked directly behind a cover in front. Ma Hongjin's mind is full of women at the moment, he would not think of anything else, so he hurriedly followed. But after a while, a bang 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 sound mixed with screams came from behind the cover. Although Daimube couldn't see what happened, but hearing the screams, a miserable scene couldn't help appearing in his mind. He shuddered suddenly, not daring to think about it. After a while, Oscar and Tang San walked over from a distance. Just at this time Tang Ge and Ma Hongjin also came out from behind the cover. When they saw Ma Hongjin's red and swollen face like a pig's head, everyone was stunned. What's going on here? Tang San couldn't help asking. Tang Ge smiled and said, this is Ma Hongjin, who became like this because he got seriously angry because he ate bad food recently. Am I right, classmate Ma Hongjin? Ah. Yes. Yes. Boss Tang Ge's right, I am on fire. Hearing Tang Ge's words and thinking about what happened just now, Ma Hongjin's body trembled and he nodded quickly. As for the thought that came up before, he didn't dare to think about it anymore. It will really kill people. It's just that Tang San and the others didn't believe Tang Ge's remarks. Eating bad things and getting angry will make the head so serious? Be a liar. After all, did Tang San and the others secretly hold back their smiles when they saw the lecherous Daimube? Tang Ge seemed to have also seen this situation, and his eyes directly moved to Daimube. With a gentle smile on his face, he asked, I heard that Oscar and Ma Hongjin both call you Boss Dai, so should we also call you Boss from now on? As soon as these words came out, Daimube, who was suppressing a smile, suddenly froze. He faintly felt that if he answered badly, something bad might happen. So Daimube could only pretend to be calm, waved his hands and said, Boss Dai, that's just a false name. And with Tang Ge here, how dare I let you call me boss? I should call you boss. Hello, second child, Tang Ge suddenly called out. Daimube's voice stopped abruptly. He stared at Tang Ge, unable to react for a while. What the hell? Seeing Daimube's silly expression, Tang Ge wanted to laugh. But he still held back his smile, walked forward and straightened Daimube's wrinkled collar, while speaking earnestly. Second Dai, although I will be your boss in the future, your position as the second is really important. In the future, you will take on the position of the second child well, and do your best to seek the welfare of your classmates. Don't let me down, you know? You? Daimube's voice was so trembling that he couldn't speak. Tang Ge patted him on the shoulder again, then turned around and looked at Tang San and the others who were also stunned. His eyes fell directly on Oscar, and he said with a smile, Oscar, now you know what to call me. Oscar came back to his senses, looked at Daimube, then at Tang Ge. He said cautiously, Boss Tang Ge, it's Boss Tang Ge. Ma Hongjin, who had just been beaten, said unwaveringly, Greek letter epsilon. When Xia Wu and the girls heard it, their faces were filled with disgust. But compared to Tang Ge being the boss, they preferred Daimube, who is a pervert, to become the second child, preferably at the Wanyan level. Immediately, Tang Ge greeted them. And everyone walked towards the cafeteria in front together. In the end, only Daimube was left alone in the same place, his eyes full of dullness. Who am I? Where am I? Why did I become the second child? End of this chapter. Chapter 73. Eat and drink with you, play with you. Dang dang dang. In the morning, bursts of bells suddenly rang in Shrek Academy. Tang Ge and his party, who had already had breakfast, learned from Douluo that this was the headmaster summoning the students, so they rushed directly to the big playground of the college. During this period, they already knew each other's names and soul power levels. Especially Ma Hongjin's strange mutated spirit made Xiao Wu and the girls blush, wondering how could there be such a perverted spirit. Ma Hongjin was innocent after hearing that, but with a lesson learned from being beaten by Tang Ge, he didn't dare to refute at all. As for Douluo, the original Dai boss, after being honored to be demoted to be Dai's second, he has completely resigned to his fate. I can't fight and I can't fight, and I don't have as many partners as others. Even if you vote, you can't win. Thinking about it again, I was only level 37, while the opponent was already level. The age of the soul ring is not as good as others. Forget it, so be it. So on the way to the playground, Douluo chose to bow his head for the first time, and called Tang Ge the boss. But after calling, he suddenly realized that it's okay to be the second child. So Douluo didn't continue to struggle with this issue anymore. Soon, a group of people came to the big playground of Shrek Academy. Here, no one is there yet. But in the entire Shrek Academy, there are actually only 9 students like Tang Ge and the others. At the same time, a middle-aged man wearing black clothes and a pair of glasses walked over from a distance. Seeing this middle-aged man, Tang Ge and 10 people who were talking quickly fell silent. Accompanied by the sound of footsteps, a middle-aged man wearing glasses came in front of Tang Ge. It was Flender, the dean of Shrek Academy. It was only through close observation that everyone noticed that the dean's face was blue and purple, and they were all surprised for a while. Could it be that the dean was beaten? Tang Ge was also surprised for a while, and soon thought of the system notification tone he saw in the morning. He was secretly curious, what did the dean say last night that he shouldn't have said, and he was beaten up by him? Could it be that he was dragged down by Xiao Wuji? Just as he was thinking, Flender who arrived suddenly spoke. He glanced at everyone present, and said calmly, I'm glad that the Academy has 6 more little monsters this year, and I, Flender, as the head of the Academy, welcome you to join us. Later, you each hand in 100 gold coins to Mr. Li, who is in charge of finances. Mubei. Dean, Douluo responded and directly walked out of the team, looking at Flender with eyes full of respect and admiration. Flender said, you will go back and be responsible for explaining the rules of the Academy to these juniors, and then go back to each other, and try your best to adjust your state to the best before dark. Your first class will begin tonight. And don't blame me for not reminding you that the teaching in this college is different from other colleges, and you may even be in danger, so remember what I just said. That's enough, let everyone else go. Xiao and remember to go back to my office. Oscar and Ningrongrong stay behind. After these words were finished, Douluo, Ma Hongjin and others turned and left one after another. Tang Ge was also about to leave, but suddenly heard Flender's voice again. Tang Ge, you stay too. In the end, only Tang Ge, Oscar and Ningrongrong were left here. After focusing on Tang Ge for a while, Flender looked at Oscar and Ningrongrong and spoke. The reason why I left you alone is because both of you are auxiliary soul masters. Although auxiliary soul masters do not need to participate in the battle on the battlefield, they will receive the protection of their companions, but it is precisely because of this that the auxiliary soul master is more dangerous, and will become the first target the enemy wants to kill. So as an auxiliary soul master, the prerequisite for you to assist your teammates is to let yourself survive first. The task I assigned to you today is physical training. From now on, run, laps around the village. If you don't finish running at noon, you don't have to come back for dinner. During this period, you can use Wuhan to assist you. Let's go now. After hearing this, Oscar immediately looked dejected. Did he know that the 20 circles mentioned by the dean not only surrounded the village, but also included the cultivated land outside the village? Counting this, 20 laps is quite terrifying. Even with a 20-level soul power level, it can't bear it. But even so, Oscar didn't dare to complain. The dean's order has to be obeyed. On the other hand, Ningrongrong glanced at Tang Ge, who was also here, and couldn't help asking curiously, is he running with us too? He doesn't run with you, but he will follow you and supervise you. Flender said lightly. What? I was asked to stay here to supervise Ningrongrong. Dean, you probably didn't do it on purpose, did you? When he heard Flender's words, Tang Ge secretly cursed in his heart. Others may not know it, but he can understand that Ningrongrong is definitely a little witch. Not to mention running, laps, The other party probably won't run for the second lap. If Tang Ge forcefully forced Ning Rongrong to complete the 20 laps, he would definitely become the #1 public enemy in the eyes of the other party, and then be hated by the other party. After all, the little witch of the 7 treasure glazed tile school is not called for nothing. Thinking of this, Tang Ge showed a smile on his face, nodded and spoke. Don't worry, Dean, I will definitely supervise them seriously. Ning Rongrong pouted, very unhappy. But as soon as she turned around, she ran slowly towards the outside of the academy. Seeing that Ning Rongrong had started to move, Tang Ge and Oscar didn't stop, and started to run. It wasn't until everyone left that Flender, who stayed where he was, couldn't help reaching out and touching his still slightly bruised face. He twitched slightly, and murmured, the villain still needs to be sharpened by the villain, my old bones can't take it anymore. Outside the village, the 3 of Tang Ge were running forward slowly. But seeing that he was getting farther and farther away from the village, Ning Rongrong suddenly stopped. She looked at Tang Ge and Oscar, but her attention was mainly on Tang Ge, pinching her waist and saying, I won't run away, you guys run, this isn't very good, the dean asked us to. Oscar wanted to persuade him. But before he could finish speaking, Ning Rongrong's fierce eyes made him shut his mouth in fright. On the side, Tang Ge, who also stopped, smiled and asked, where are you going if you don't run? I'm going to the city, why don't I waste my time here? Ning Rongrong's pretty face was full of disgust, and she had already figured out how to deal with Tang Ge's obstruction. What surprised her was that instead of stopping Tang Ge, he nodded in agreement. It's not safe for a girl to go to the city alone. If that's the case, I'll go with you. Just let Oscar run here alone. Ah. You really want to accompany me? You won't lie to me, will you? Ning Rongrong said suspiciously. But at this time Tang Ge had already walked forward, and at the same time he heard his urging voice with a smile. Let's go. Today I will reluctantly accompany you to eat, drink and play together, and I will never return until it is dark. End of this chapter. Chapter 74. She suddenly realized itself. Looking at Tang Ge walking forward, after Ning Rongrong came back to his senses, a blush suddenly appeared on his face. She stomped her feet, pretending to be dissatisfied, and said, what do you mean by eating and drinking with me, and playing with me? It's obvious that you want to be lazy. HMPH, but because you are my classmate, I reluctantly agreed to you. Hey, why are you walking so fast? Wait for me. Immediately, Ning Rongrong hurriedly chased after her with her long white skirt in hand. As for the bad impression of arrogance that Tang Ge left on her before, of course it all disappeared at this moment. Those who can play with Ning Rongrong are her good friends. In the same place, Oscar stood there blankly by himself. Seeing that Tang Ge and Ning Rongrong, who were supposed to run with him, were drifting away, he couldn't help muttering to himself. Just leave like this? Leave me alone. Looking at the endless fields all around him, Oscar suddenly felt that running was no longer a good idea. Or, I'll go to the city too. Oscar couldn't help having such an idea. Just at this moment, a gust of wind suddenly blew over. Along with the fluttering of leaves, a bird's feather fluttered in front of Oscar's eyes. There's even a trace of soul power fluctuations on the feathers. After seeing this feather, Oscar was shocked, and continued his, lap running task without saying a word. At a certain moment, a phantom flashed past Oscar's head and disappeared quickly. I have to say that it is good to go out with rich people, and the other party is by few many. Ever since Tang Ge agreed to go to Suado City with Ning Rongrong, the little princess from the 7 treasure glazed tile sect, the other party has borne all the expenses without hesitation. And Suado City, as the second largest city in the Bara Kingdom, had one of the highest levels of prosperity in the city in a day. Tang Ge did what he said, and fully fulfilled the duties of accompanying him to eat and play, and Ning Rongrong was solely responsible for the payment. Both of them ate very well and had a lot of fun. It seemed as if they forgot about the lap running arranged by the dean. Until the evening, Ning Rongrong also wanted to go back and have a look because he still remembered that the academy had arranged for Xiao Wu and the others to train at night. That's why she ended the one-day tour of Suado City with great reluctance, and returned to the village where the Shrek Academy was located with Tang Ge. On the way back to college, the sunset glow fell from the sky, reflecting on the 2 handsome men and women. It looked extraordinarily beautiful. As he was walking, seeing a large piece of fertile land in front of him, and the village where the academy was located in the distance, Ning Rongrong suddenly stopped. She turned her head to look at Tang Ge, and whispered with a blushing face, "Tang Ge, you know that if you don't finish running, the dean will definitely get angry and punish us. But why are you willing to accompany me to Soto City today? Are you really afraid that something will happen to a girl like me?" Tang Ge also stopped. Facing Ning Rongrong, who seemed a little shy at the moment, he smiled lightly. "Do you want to hear the truth or a lie?" "The truth." "Lie?" Ning Rongrong didn't understand why Tang Ge asked such a question, but she still answered. "I want to hear the truth. The truth is that I'm already level, comma." Tang Ge seemed slightly satisfied. "Level? Question mark? Then isn't it the soul sect next? Why are you so fast?" When Ning Rongrong heard Tang Ge's words, she couldn't help blurting out in shock. She remembered that the other party seemed to be only level 39 during the assessment yesterday, and after only one night, the other party actually raised another level. "Thinking about myself, it seems that I am only level 26. At this moment, Ning Rongrong felt very uncomfortable in his heart, and felt very unconvinced. She is the majestic little princess of the 7 treasure glazed tile sect. How can a person without sect background have higher soul power than her? As for Tang Ge, even though there was a system prompt in his head, he couldn't help but roll his eyes when he heard Ning Rongrong describe himself like this. "What makes me so fast? I've been very fast. Ba, I have always been very fast in cultivation, okay?" No matter what Ning Rongrong was thinking at the moment, Tang Ge continued to smile. "In addition to my 40th level of spirit power, I also have 1 purple, 2 black and 3 spirit rings, and if there is no accident, there will be a 3rd black 10,000-year spirit ring soon. At that time, I will be able to break through level 12 and become a soul sect again, and I will still be a, year-old soul sect. In addition, you also watched yesterday's assessment. My soul skills can not only heal teammates, but also have powerful offensive soul skills. Even Mr. Zhao, who has the cultivation of a soul sage, is defeated by me. Therefore, the conclusions drawn from the above advantages are as follows. Don't say I don't run for a day. Even if I don't run for a month, no one of my age can surpass me in terms of soul power and soul ring. After knowing my spirit power level, the dean will not only not punish me, but will praise me for combining work and rest, and try his best to help me obtain the 4th spirit ring. At last. Even if one day I will go to the battlefield, even if my super healing ability is discovered by the enemy and wants to kill me first, can they kill me?" These words were said by Tang Ge in a boastful way. And what he said is completely true. But Ning Rongrong heard it in her ears, but she only felt every sentence hurt her heart, every word in every sentence made her body tremble, and her pretty face became paler and paler. 2 drops of glowing tears slipped from the corners of his eyes quietly. In the end, Ning Rongrong bit her pale thin lips, and suddenly turned around and ran away. Then came her stubborn cry. Tang Ge, you go back first, eh? Ning Rongrong must finish the 20-lap tasks assigned by the dean today. Call. A gust of wind swept by, and immediately a figure descended from the sky to the side. It was Flender, the head of Shrek Academy. He looked at Ning Rongrong, who was drifting away in the distance, frowning lightly, and said, "What is she going to do? Run around?" Tang Ge seemed to have expected Flender to appear, and was not surprised at all. "Didn't you arrange 20 laps for her today, Dean? She hasn't finished running yet, but isn't this girl no longer planning to run away? You spent a day in the city with her, crazy." Speaking of this, Flender felt depressed for a while. He clearly arranged for the kid in front of him to be in charge of supervising Ning Rongrong and Oscar, but luckily, this kid went directly to Soto City with Ning Rongrong to play. But Flender didn't stop him, but endured until this time before he suddenly appeared. Next to him, Tang Ge naturally understood what Flender was thinking. However, he didn't give any explanation for himself, but said with a smile, "Ning Rongrong continued to run laps. Isn't that the result you want to see?" As for why she suddenly insisted on it again, maybe after playing for a day, she suddenly realized it herself. After speaking, Tang Ge continued to walk in the direction of the college. "Ning Rongrong has realized it, but you still haven't. Don't forget to vote for recommendation after reading a chapter. Millions of rewards to achieve star fame." End of this chapter. Chapter 75, The Great Battle of the Soul. She realized it by herself? Seeing Tang Ge's leaving back, Flender was stunned for a moment, then couldn't help snorting. "Do you think I didn't hear what you said just now? Eat other people's food, drink other people's food, and finally bully other people's little girls. What a ghostly little guy." However, This saves me from showing up in person. And this kid has already reached level, so quickly, it seems that he has to go back and make a good plan with that guy Zhao Wuji. Speaking of this, the corners of Flender's mouth turned up slightly, revealing a satisfied smile. Immediately. He didn't stay for long, but directly emerged with his martial soul and soared into the sky again, chasing in the direction Ning Rongrong left just now. In the evening, it was slightly dark. Tang San, Xiao Wu and the others who had rested for a day came out of their respective residences one after another, and gathered together on the college playground. Oscar was not among them. He was obviously exhausted after running 20 laps, and he was sleeping soundly in his bed. When Tang Ge came from a distance, Tang San and the others all looked at Tang Ge, with a strange look in their eyes. Boss Tang, I heard that you accompanied Ning Rongrong to Suado City for a day. Dai Mubei walked up to Tang Ge and asked in a low voice. Tang Ge smiled and nodded. Dai Mubei won't accept anyone, but you. After being confirmed, Dai Mubei said with a look of admiration. Even if it was him, he would not dare to violate the mission assigned by the dean so blatantly, but Tang Ge not only did it, but he was not punished. This is where Dai Mubei has to obey. But then, he seemed to think of something, and couldn't help but said, since Boss Tang Ge is back, where's Ning Rongrong who is with you? She should still be running laps. Tang Ge was not sure lap? Wait, didn't you just say that you went to the city to play? Why did it suddenly become a lap again? Hearing Tang Ge's words, Dai Mubei suddenly looked confused. Just when he wanted to ask further what was going on, a figure suddenly walked towards him in the distance. Soon, this figure appeared in front of Tang San's group of 8 people. It was Dean Flender. But besides him, the Ning Rongrong who was just mentioned was lying on his back, his eyes were closed tightly, and there was a lot of dust on his fair face. Dai Mubei wanted to ask what happened. As a result, Flender, who came over, did not stop, and walked directly across the large playground, towards the place where the students lived. It wasn't until a quarter of an hour later that he went back alone. Noticing the puzzled and worried eyes of the students, Flender explained, this girl was too tired to run and fell asleep, so I sent her back to the room to rest just now. Now that you're all here, let's go. He didn't say where he was going, and seemed to want to test Tang Ge's 8 people, but he just tapped the ground with his toes, and then flitted out lightly. After leaving the village, Flender maintained a fairly fast speed. And in order not to be left behind, Tang San's 8 people could only do their best to show their fastest speed, and for a while they directly pulled into a straight line because of the speed difference. Tang Ge was not in a hurry at all, because he knew the destination this time, so he followed slowly at the end. The girl Lin Yuchen could obviously keep up with the team. But she also deliberately slowed down and stayed behind with Tang Ge. Flender at the front naturally discovered this problem, but he really has nothing to do with Tang Ge, who is both talented and strong. Helpless. Flender could only spread his dissatisfaction on Tang San Liu and the others, directly almost doubling his own speed. So, when everyone arrived at the training destination, Soto City, Tang San, Dai Mubei and the others were so tired that they almost collapsed. Looking at Tang Ge who walked over from Yaoze and Lin Yuchen who was blushing beside him, the eyes of these 6 people were suddenly filled with resentment. The hateful dean, he treated them differently again. Fortunately, Flender also realized that Tang San and the others were in poor condition, and after entering Soto City, he directly found a tea shop to sit down and drink tea while resting. Soto City at night is still brightly lit and bustling, with people coming and going on the spacious streets. Even when he was sitting down to drink tea, Mo Hongjin's eyes did not calm down, and he began to turn around, looking at women passing by. Even passing by, he almost threw himself on others. As the dean, Flender couldn't bear to watch it any longer, so he snorted and said, sit quietly and don't look blindly. Oh, feeling the stern eyes of the dean, Mo Hongjin shrank his neck in fright, and could only look away reluctantly. After a while, seeing that the students were almost resting, Flender suddenly stood up from his chair. He pointed to the opposite side and said, did you see that? That's where your first class training tonight will be. Tang San and the others looked in the direction pointed by the dean, and what came into view was a large group of tall buildings with a height of nearly, meters, which was incomparably huge. In the night, one can faintly see lights flickering in the building. Seeing this building, Dai Mubei's face changed slightly. He couldn't help but said, Dean, let Tang San and the others go there on the first day. Remember, you are all monsters, not ordinary people. Since you are monsters, you must have a monster's way of cultivation. Facing the puzzled expressions of Tang San and Xiao Wu's 4 daughters, Flender said indifferently, "That building is called Suoto Great Soul Arena. It is a place where martial spirits fight, that is, soul masters fight, and there are only cities at the level of the main city to have. The academy can teach you how to use your martial spirit and how to obtain better spirit rings, but the actual combat experience can only rely on yourself. So, your first lesson is actual combat, and that place is your classroom. The last task I give you is to at least get the silver fighting spirit badge before graduation. Let's go. I'll take you inside to familiarize yourself with the environment first. Let Mubei tell you about the rest." Immediately, he took the first step towards the huge building opposite. Let's follow along, and by the way, tell you about the badges level and promotion rules. Hearing the graduation task arranged by the dean, Dai Mubei seemed very helpless when he looked at Tang San and the others who didn't understand the difficulty of it. Tang San and the others had no objection and nodded. So, on the next road. According to Flender's instructions, Dai Mubei first explained the badges from the Iron Badge, that is, the Iron Fighting Spirit, to the 8 levels of Copper, Silver, Gold, Purple Gold, Sapphire, Ruby and Diamond. Then he talked about the points needed to advance from each level of the badge, and how to deduct and increase points after winning or losing. At first, Tang San and the others didn't think there was anything wrong. But when they learned that Dai Mubei had 29 wins and 27 losses, but only had 2 points, they were shocked and realized how difficult it was. Ask for a recommendation ticket. End of this chapter. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.